Hey, we're gonna have some new guests in tonight. We got some new members that are bringing in guests, and I don't see the names up yet. But if you're a if you're a new member, or you're just popping in, welcome. Just say hello. That's all you have to do. But better than that, can I see what you do? Really? I'm looking at my screen right now. What do I have? I got 33 participants up there on the screen. Um, Do I have current photographs of your work for all 33 of you? Yeah, I sent out our newsletter, which went out today. Awesome work.
I was in
Awesome
it.
work,
I
JJ.
was in
Awesome work.
it.
You see, we give him the best, and he turns out the ultimate, really. But I send mine out to my daughter to get reformatted so I can drop it on about 20 Facebook pages. And I do that every week, every time we issue, every other week when we issue a newsletter. And the first thing my daughter sent me back last night was, "Where is that burl bowl? I want to see it." You know, like I can, she can go over and look at it. She doesn't understand it. We're worldwide. It's not right here. Um, but that's the kind of art we're looking for. No, we're looking for your art. We're looking for everything that can be turned, every single item, every idea, every trick, everything. You turn some things in your shop and you think, well, this ain't worth much. Really? I wish I had some of my very, very early work. Yeah, I saved some. It was just by habit. But if I thought about it, I would have saved all my early work. Why? Because then I can say, look at this and look at this. And if there's not much difference, then I'll look at this. But we're looking for that, folks. We're looking for what you're doing and how you're progressing, what you're coming up with, how you're holding it. Somebody called me today. Would it be fair to me to show you, for me? They asked me, would it be fair for them to show us how they're holding their dead man? And and I said, the dead man, that's a term I use. That's just a block or whatever you put in to jam a bull against. Well, he had a great idea. He had one covered with a mouse pad that he cut up and glued on there to push his bull against, but he had it in 5 or 6 different shapes. And he just put it right in his chuck and would smash against it so he can finish the back and sand the back and not mar up the thing. I said, yes, but no, just show us how you did it and where it came from and your idea and how you use it. That fits in our newsletter. It really does. And where does everything else go? On the website. So if you're looking for that kind of stuff, and we do, that's why we're here, send it to us, share it with us. The crazy brain idea you had, that one that said, oh man, why do I want to do that? We want to know why you want to do it. Then we want to see what you did and how it works. Because the simplest little thing you come up with is the simplest thing that we wish we had come up with. We wish we'd come up with that idea. And one day we'll be standing in the shop saying, and I wish I knew how to fix that. You may have given me the answer. That's right. And unlike, I believe, almost any other club in the world, everything you submit to us that we put on our website and our newsletter, use on this program, um, it's 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 there for eternity. We don't say it's there for 3 weeks and we're going to take it away, or if you don't have a membership, you can't look at it, or it's out of date. Nah, none of this is out of date. From the when Gophers turn the wheels for us. This is all relevant. It's all current, and it's all informative. And I love it every week when we get together. And this, I don't pick on him, okay? I don't pick on him. He's in here. I see Al was in here earlier. I don't see him on the screen right now. But Al will stop and say, wait. How you did that? Don't the rest of you want to get in on that and say, wait, how you did that? because we see these things that come up, that get exposed, that get created, that get resolved, get invented. And we say, well, I had that problem last week. Why weren't I working on that? Or can that work here? Can that work there? And that's also another part of it. If you've got a problem and we don't appear to have the answer, can you ask us? Yes. You can write us and ask us. You can call us. You can put it here on a meeting format. And, there's no embarrassment by saying, I don't know. There is none. And the best way to get information is ask for it. So if we can help you, throw it out there because you're going to put it back to us. And what I really, really love is to see the input come in from the rest of y'all. When somebody says, I need something, and 10 hands go up saying, wait, I got that, I can help you, I can help. They're not showing off, folks. They're telling you that they learned how to do what you got a problem with. They finally learned how to do it right here on Worldwide Woodturners. So when you are out in the shop and you venture into something that's strange or unique or kind of nutso, take a picture. Yeah, take a picture. It's the simplest thing. Take a picture. I was over by the feed store, and there was a guy, and then he had a one-way chuck. It was another brand of chuck, and he was over by the aquarium section, and I had to go see what's he going to do with his chuck in the aquarium section of a feed store. Looking for plastic tubing to put over of his the jaws on his thing. And I said, why are you doing that? And he said, well, I saw it last week on a video, and the guy had those rubber protectors on. So when I'm using my spigot jaws, that I don't mark up my wood, I'm going to get me rubber pads to go on them. But the rubber pads at Craft Supplies are $20. And I figure 1 foot of this rubber tubing will do it. And that's only like $1. There you go. You must belong to our club. If that's common sense, the realism. And we come up with that and we put it out there. So as simple and easy as it can be, that's the way to do it. That's like people say, if the screws on my chuck's breaking, this and that, one of the best sources, automotive parts store. Don't go to the hardware. Those screws are too soft. Go to auto parts. Get good grade screws. So, but look, if you're venturing out in the shop this week, take a picture. Snap a picture of what you're working on. Show us how you're holding it. Show us what it takes to make that sweep cut. If you do a roughing or a hollowing and you videotape it and it blows up, I'd really like to see it blow up. No, I said that wrong. I'd really like to see what happened. I don't want to see it blow up. I want to see what happened because I want to see did the wood fail? Did the chuck fail? Did the holding fail? What happened when it blew up? Did this fail? Did you feed it too much tool? Things like that. So if you're out in the shop and you're working on something, share some of your pros and cons with us. I went to a shop one day with a guy into a shop, and there was a guy there roughing out something. I watched him rough out something for about 15 minutes, and I said, let me just ask, do you not like that or what? He said, why? And I said, you're beating it to death. You really are. You're cutting against the grain with every pass. You're pushing down the fiber and then dragging across and then chopping and then dragging across. And I said, just stop and look at where the grain is in that wood and how you can take a pocket knife and slice it. And we spun it by hand, and he put his gouge up there. No sharpening, nothing, no resharpening. Put a slice up there, and he says, oh, I've never gotten curls like that. I said, you never went for them. So it took a minute for somebody to say, you're watching a video on YouTube or wherever, and that guy's putting on a show of shavings flying up over his head, but that's never made a bowl. Real good cutting has made a bowl. So let's go back to real good cutting. And then we stopped and sharpened his tools. Then he was amazed because he was doing, well, you know how it is. But look, just as a favor, when you're out in the shop this week, do a little video, take a couple of pictures, send them to us, share what you're doing in your shop so we can take it to our shop and do what we want to do. And oh, yeah, don't forget, it's coming up. Registration will open in just a couple of weeks for Level Up. Level Up is a truly unique lifetime experience. It's going to be a wood turning experience. I don't know. You can't call it anything else. It's a wood turning experience. You're going to have a bunch of your best friends gather around a bunch of lathes. Get that. I did say a bunch of lathes, not just one at the front of the room and you're up in a balcony and you're not supposed to go talk to them. No, that's not how it works. Level Up, you're down there and with the guy, and we got more than one coach on every demonstration. We have multiple demonstrations all going. We have on lathe projects, off lathe projects. We have training seminars, all kinds of things happening at Level Up. That is in September of 2026. Registration will open up, and this September, we're all ready to go. In fact, we're getting Dane rebuilt right now. I mean, you know, they refitting parts on him to get him ready to be there. And he's in good shape. He's on Facebook. He's kicking butt on Facebook. But Level Up's going to start up when registration's open. Get in, reserve a spot, and if you can, pick a spot for your best friend and bring him along with you. And this is going to be the experience you will never, ever forget. You're going to have so much fun. You know, when friends get together to turn wood, it's a whole lot better than just turning wood. I believe that. All right. Tonight, we're going to have a good demonstration. We're going to do a few we're going to do some galleries. Safety Sue is with us tonight, and she's going to have a little talk about what to do, what we should do and not do. That's the important part. And you're here, and we want to hear from you. And that's the important part of all this. We want to hear from you. So right now, let's go back. Let's go into Scott's got the main drive this week, and he's got his team with him, our co-hosts, who are all volunteers. We all do this as volunteers. Scott, what do we got coming up, sir?
We got James Carter at the top of the hour going to have our demonstration for us. And I think Matt has some names for gallery. So I guess we could start gallery now if you want, Matt.
That sounds great. First on my list is Joaquin. So we're going to go to Joaquin first. What you got, Joaquin?
Thank you for the newsletter, Chief. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It was fun. But it was a struggle. I have had a rough month. Last month was rough. I ended up with a sinus infection that benched me for almost 3 weeks. I did get into the shop Monday morning and had a piece explode on me. Australian red gum is challenging wood. And I was turning a thin walled piece, and there's a lot of in red gum, there's a lot of inclusions and stuff, and it just couldn't handle it. But I got out there today because I am doing a collaboration with a veteran-owned soap company and a veteran blacksmith, and we're going to make shaving sets for sale at Christmas time. And so this is the first of 10 of a run of 10 spalted elm shaving soap dish.
Oh, that's cool.
Very nice.
And
it's really pretty.
Just fantastic. And
what is this shaving you're talking about?
Well, hair grows really patchy here. So you take this sharp piece of metal and you just scratch it. Just here though, just here and here, nowhere else.
Is that
I
all
thought
made
he
out
was
of
talking
wood?
about wood shavings. He was.
Yeah. So that's finished with Parfix, a really thick, heavy coating Parfix in the inside. And one thing I did do is there was quite the inclusion right along through here, and then up there was actually almost nothing right here. So that's all backfilled with African blackwood shavings and Parfix.
Oh, it looks great.
That just turned out, it worked out really, really
Beautiful.
nicely.
You'd never know in the bogus.
Yeah, well, and that's what I like with Spalted. If you have African blackwood shavings, and you're turning spalted wood and you have to make patches, I also had to do it on the top. And the only reason you can tell that there's any kind of a fix is because it's just wider than the rest of the spalting, but it blends in perfectly.
It does. It looks great. Looks
Yeah,
great.
it really
So
does.
that's number 1. 9 more to go.
That's a great idea, though. I never thought about saving these.
Well, I was turning live on TikTok and had some knucklehead demand that I do something with my African blackwood shavings. His idea was that I pour it in resin to make pen blanks with it. And I said, sure, order one, which he never did. But I got to thinking about it, and they're perfect for filling. And I like it a little bit better than coffee grounds. It just turns out it finishes nicer in my mind than coffee grounds do.
It's why I save walnut dust. Same idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just allergic to walnuts, so
Yeah, I can't
not
get
to turn
coffee
it if I
grounds
can,
fine
because I
enough.
have to be masked up the whole time. And my I love my Trend Air Pro, except for how much the darn thing weighs. It wears you out. That's all I've got. Send it. Listen, folks, my knee surgery got bumped up to the 3rd week of this month. I posted in the group, but please send extra photos. I'm going to need you guys to help me so I can front load. So the couple of days where I'm not able to pay attention to it, I know that I've got enough imagery that it's going to fill the newsletter that's going to be published a week after my surgery. I'm trying for the newsletter to be seamless, but I need your photos. Email them to editor@worldwidewoodturners.org. High resolution photos. And make sure you tell me what I'm looking at, what the wood is, what the finish is, anything special. And some of you, your name is your email, but a lot of us, it's not that way. So if I don't know who you are, and I just like your emails, whatever your company is or whatever, please make sure you tell me who you are so that I give you the proper attribution for your photos.
Very cool. We'll have to step it up, eh?
That's
Sounds
just
great.
I just put the newsletter together. You guys make it. The club is who makes that newsletter. I just copy and paste stuff into a format. It's your work.
You put my article together.
Well,
We do. You do it really well.
I do some editing and stuff, but really, you guys do the footwork. You do the work.
You do a great job.
I just super glue it all onto a sheet of cardboard and put it up on the poster board.
Yeah. You do a great job of it.
Thank you.
We're very grateful for it. Thank you, Joaquin.
Very great.
Okay. Next up is Dave. What you got, Dave?
Oh, besides exhaustion, I got out and got a hold of a piece of that European purple beech that I've had before, and I made a little box.
Looks cute. I like it.
Yeah, I've seen other guys do this style, and I thought I'd try one. And it came out fairly well.
That is
Very
it's
nice.
pretty.
Yeah, very nice.
Kinds of woods together. That's cool.
No, it's all one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty wood.
that's cool.
That really is.
Beautiful.
That is
I like
you.
the shape. I love it.
And you
There's more
find
of that coming down.
if you go to a craft show, I find that stuff like that sells, and the bowls 12 to 14 inches sell. But anything else, like these little boxes, people can use them for so much. You know, they can put jewelry in them. They can. I sold one to a girl, and she said she's going to store her weed in it. I said I don't want to know that. But those
Well,
little boxes go
it's
over.
legal here. I've actually made a couple of those weed boxes, so it's
Yep, it's
Yep.
legal
they
here
don't have to
too.
be very big. So yeah,
I
very cool,
sold,
Dave.
I
In
sold
case you got in
four of
trouble.
them. I sold four of them. The guy wanted to send his mother's ashes to four different people.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not a bad idea.
Was she dead yet?
I,
Oh, sorry.
I hope I didn't check on that.
Did that come out loud? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Getting rid of the evidence.
That little filter is broken.
At a certain age, you don't have a filter anymore.
Thanks, Dave.
I have a
Thanks,
filter, I
Dave.
just don't care.
Right, exactly. I'm at that age where let's see what happens.
Yeah.
We're all friends here anyway.
This could be fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have a great evening.
Okay, well, next up is Billy.
Hey, Billy.
What's up, Billy?
Hey, everybody. What's going on? Well, I've been critter happy again. I've still got a few to make. And you saw this one before I put the finish on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I saw that on the webpage. It came out
Real
gorgeous.
nice. Wow.
Absolutely gorgeous, Billy.
There it is.
Very nice.
Thank you.
That looks
Anyway,
newsletter worthy, Billy.
Oh,
If you
don't-
put that on a table at SWAT, somebody's going to
it'll
take
be
it.
there.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a tabletopper Saturday night.
Oh,
So
yep.
so
Gorgeous.
anyway, somebody asked me, well, why'd you paint his face blue? Well, look at pictures of turkeys. You'll see why.
Mm-hmm.
They have blue faces. Anyway, that's what I did. Got my little logo burned in the bottom, but it came out kind of nice. I kind of like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
African mahogany for the back that I dyed. There's no paint on it. No, I had to use a little bit of light yellow paint on the outside, but just dabs of it. The rest of it's all dyed.
Wow.
Awesome.
And he's even
Nice.
got his waddle.
Mhm.
That made that out of pipe cleaner.
This is your turn.
And his beard I also made out of pipe cleaner, dyed them the right colors. So that's what I got today. That's it.
Very nice.
Looks good.
Very fun,
Thank you.
Billy.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun. These are fun to make.
How did you hold his tail to the body? Is it down?
No.
Oh,
With the peacocks, I just sanded the inside of the feathers to the same shape as the body, and I epoxied them on. And I didn't like that. So this time, well, it's hard to see. You might see the slot over here. I actually cut a vertical slot with a handsaw into the back, and then turned this to the diameter that would fit. Well, almost. I mean, thickness. Almost the thickness it would fit. I had to.
So you could
do some sanding on the back, but
you could alter the angle of that if you wanted to like slant it one way or another. Then
I could. In this case, I wanted it pretty much like it is.
Right.
But yeah, I could have cocked it back a little bit. But I didn't want to. I just put this in my woodworking vise on the end of my bench and held my finger and used my box saw and
So how'd you make the whole
cut a slot.
how'd you make the whole design?
What do you mean?
The whole pattern. How the pattern of the feathers. How did you do all that?
It's in my head. After I got it turned, I cut round grooves in it, and then I used a piece of thin wood, and I burned the rings. And while it was after I got that done, I made this with 24. I used my indexing system on the lathe, and I got 24 lines drawn all the way across, inside and out. So I'd draw them, and then I would make a reference mark over here on the outside while I was drawing, because I was drawing the inside. So I'd make a reference mark over here. When I took it off the lathe, I just continued those reference marks across the front. And then I took them to the bench and my wood burner, and I just wood burned down the pencil line. I looked
Nice.
at pictures. I looked at pictures of turkeys to see where the coloration changed and tried to mimic that best I could.
Well, with the dye, it looks so natural. It's great.
Thank you very much.
No, it
I
is.
think
It's
he's
beautiful.
I think he's just cute as he can be.
Yes.
It is.
He is. He is. He'd make a great
Kinda
box too.
Kind of like me. Kind of like me. I
Oh my God.
That was good.
Let's not
Billy.
stretch it too far, Billy.
Billy the turkey.
I think you're good.
Face.
You should have said it was segmented. There's 438 pieces in there.
That's what I was expecting to hear. That's what I was waiting for.
No, it's just dye. It's just pyrography and dye.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys that use those burners, turn out some beautiful stuff.
Thank you.
Very, very versatile embellishment tool. Lots of good
They
uses.
really are. I did not use the laser on this one. I've got the body turned for what I want to look like a pug. And I don't know how successful I'm going to be yet. I know I need to flatten the face some, and I will probably use the laser on the face just to make sure that it looks pug-like. But I don't know. We'll see.
That's a different tail.
Did you get the javelina finished?
The javelina is not done. I'm looking forward to getting that one done. I'm really excited, actually, about the javelina. That may be the next one I do, because I think that's going to look pretty cool.
I can only imagine. All right. Well, thanks, Billy. Those are fun.
Thanks.
Next up is Roger. What you got, Roger?
What?
God.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh,
Not finished. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Pretty.
I heart a good segmented piece.
Huh?
I said I heart a good segmented piece.
And
Ooh. Yeah, I seen that. You are so good on that laser already. My goodness.
I think I'll bring the laser pecker with me to level up. And this is the bowl that we'd be turning in the segmented class. And anybody that wants it marked, we can mark it like that.
Oh,
Great plan. Do you have one? Do you put yours in your tailstock? Is that how you're using it?
Yes.
Okay. Like Doug Miller showed us how. That's right.
I don't know. I haven't seen how Doug's did, but I just looked at it and
Very cool. Very
Roger,
cool.
I'd love to have a picture of how you've got it mounted in the tailstock for the newsletter. That'd be
So would
awesome.
I'd love to see it too.
all right.
Thank you.
All right.
That's
Thanks
all I
very
got.
much, Roger.
Huh?
There's a great article in the newsletter on the hearts. That's
Thank you.
very cool.
It is.
I want to see some other people do them.
Yeah. Looks like a lot of work, man. Next up is Sheila. What you got, Sheila?
Don't be scared, Sharon.
Have
Oh my
this-
God.
urn thing, I guess.
an urn thing. It's gorgeous.
It's maple branches, purple resin. My branches floated, so it's all resin on the base. And with floating and shrinkage, I ended up putting a band of gold that you can almost see, and then purple again on top of that to try to fill up my mold.
So is it threaded, the lid?
No, it's just set on.
Okay.
Yeah. Very
It's-
well done. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Sheila's been watching
Very
Sprague wood turning, I think.
I've got so many problems in the finish on it, but exactly.
Sheila, you can't see them from my house.
Yeah,
Tell you
looks
what,
good from here.
your ideas are just great. Your ideas are just great. I just love it.
Laura says it's perfect.
Okay, I won't show you all the bad spots.
Yes, amen.
You're the only one knows they're there.
So how
There's
is that
another one.
finished? How is that finished?
I actually did lacquer on it. Well, I did a coat of resin to make sure things were filled in, where I had bubbles and marks in the wood, and then sanded that down and then put on lacquer.
It is beautiful.
Thanks.
Really nice.
Very nice.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful, Sheila.
Thank you.
Take that
Thank
look
you very
of
much.
fear. Take off that look of fear you've got because you did an awesome job.
Agreed.
All right. It was the biggest one I've done so far, I think. And it started out at 18.6 pounds. And I haven't weighed it since I finished it, but it's not that much. Oh, part of it I did put I forgot there's shavings from ABS pipe that I stuffed down in there, but a lot of that floated too, which is why the gold doesn't show up. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's some gold shows up and others looks kind of black. So there's black.
Gives it a cool look, though.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Very nice.
Thank you.
That's very nice for sure.
Wonderful. All right. So next up is Jim. What you got, Jim?
I've been turning three-sided bowls. These are. Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
It is. That's pretty.
And my assistant is going to texture this, but the texturing department is behind, right?
Your assistant?
I did. Kirsten, yeah, Kirsten. This is
Rita,
what,
are you going to let him talk to you like that?
when they come
about
out
you
of
like
the
that?
what?
She said you could.
They
You
come
see
out
that-
of
you see
finishing.
Jim looks to the right first before he says anything.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, he wants to see that shoe coming.
Yeah, she's always saying, I can do that, I can do that. Anyway, that's a three-sided.
That's cool.
I got three of those, and then for the heck of it, this is a four-sided. This is
Why not?
these are harder to make, and I really don't like them, but I did it just to show I could do it. I guess I don't know.
Well, okay. How did you do it?
On an offset check.
Okay.
Doug's Chuck.
Each one of those is a different center.
Yeah. All right.
Jim, we need a demo.
Yeah, good luck. They're pretty straight-sided. That's just a show, but this could have any configuration you want, and you would still end up with a straight line down here.
Right.
That is, yeah, it's pretty.
Wow.
Oh, and then I could show a small set of balls. I have to switch cameras here. I don't mess this up. Oh, I did mess it up. Here we go. Oh, B. Here's the other camera.
There you go.
There you go.
Another set of balls.
Oh my.
I love it. Those are great.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Lots of fun.
I mean, you just inspire so many things. Thank you.
Next
Telling
time.
So
Lots
is
of fun.
on your base, is there like a curved race or is it just flat on the base on the inside?
No, it's cupcake.
Okay.
The race has got to be tangent to the bottom here, and it's got to be the right size here.
Okay.
And that gives you the spacing between the balls. The balls have to be spaced. If they bump into each other, they'll quit.
So is it like an inverse toroid inside, or is it just?
it's a raceway. It's a raceway.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. It's an actual hemispherical raceway. Okay. Cool.
I actually
Thank you.
draw it. I draw it and I turn it small, and I put the balls in there, and I keep making it bigger until I get it just the right size. Because here again, you're taking off twice as much wood, so it's pretty critical this size. But
Okay, since you were that close with Jim, now we've been going back and forth with this project with spheres for quite a while. Now, right now, what is the size of your sphere, and what is the size of the raceway of the bowl, so I could get some kind of idea?
oh, I have no idea. The size of the balls are about a little over 3 inches.
I thought you'd have
And the
digital
race,
television.
the race where it fetches, there's probably about 6.5. But the 6.5 is also, that's about an inch above the bottom. It's got to be 6.5 inches in diameter.
Okay, that's the other critical part.
Yeah. But the balls are all turned by hand. I don't have a sphere jig and all that sort of thing.
No, right.
Your eye's better than mine.
Oh, yeah.
No, again, it's so inspiring.
Imagine there's a lot of practice there.
Yeah.
My God, yeah.
When you first make them, they're round, but weather changes things. If they back up, when they stop, if they back up, the weather got to something.
Do you put an oil finish on it or another finish on it?
Those are Renaissance wax.
Renaissance wax. Okay.
Yeah.
That helps it also.
Yeah, that makes them spin. The base has a wax on the inside and a lacquer on the outside.
Right.
Well, with
a lot of friction.
Yeah.
With the change in the wood due to climate or weather or humidity or whatever, wood moves. I could make them almost round and then wait for them to change and become round.
Well, but that
if I tried that, Billy, they'd end up more oblong.
Yeah, you and me both.
Go the other way.
It sounds like a plan.
No, but that's one of the reasons I put them in. This is in 2, 4, 5 different pieces.
Those cookies are great.
If it was one piece of wood, it would have more movement. And the smaller, the bigger they go, the worse it gets. I made a set of 8-inch, and they're always out around.
Get eggs.
Yeah.
Cool stuff, Jim.
Yeah, really.
Very cool.
As
Very
always.
cool. Yeah.
I mean,
thanks, Jim.
You always get my mind going.
Great job, Dad.
All right. So next up on the list here is Todd. So let's see what Todd's got. What you got, Todd?
Well, I've got a fear of following up Jim is what I've got.
Everybody does. You're not alone.
I'm trying to wrap my head around how he made 3 spears so similar in size that they would rotate like that. It's just I can't do it.
There's 4.
So 4. I mean, yeah, 3 on the bottom, 1 on top. Thanks, Jim. Yeah. So, but anyway, I have a piece of birch that I did. I haven't done the foot of it yet, but a little OG shape. And the purpose of this was to play with the iridescent paints, the Joe Soja or whatever they are.
Joe Sonia,
and so So on the top of it, that's my my first go at doing those
Very nice.
those
Looks
Yeah, that's a
cool.
great
and
look. That's very cool. Nicely
so
Yeah,
done.
those look. That's nice.
Yes.
see if you can see some of the colors come out in it.
Yep, purple,
I
Yeah, yeah.
Gold.
kind of a teal, yellow, gold.
Yeah.
yes, I
Green.
think I used the turquoise, violet, and gold. I think are the colors I used. I
see them
on it. So look, I'll tell you. Al, was that you were going to say something?
I was going to ask, what technique did you use to blend the paints?
Yeah. So I first off, I thinned them with the medium a little too much, and so they are not as vibrant as some that you would see. They're a little more subdued in those colors because they went on a little thin. So lesson number one. Lesson number two, before I forget, would be that on the outside, I really wanted the bowl part of this to be. I wanted this bowl to be a little smaller, so the lip would be longer, so I could have a wider rim without it being real thick and heavy. So I'll try to remember that next time. But after I've just brushed on those three colors all over the place haphazardly, I used the saran wrap, the plastic wrap, and put the plastic wrap over it. And then I took my hand in a few places and just sort of gave that plastic wrap a little turn while it was on there, which created these little places where you can see the lines coming through and stuff. And
yeah, it's a great effect. It worked,
just those
really
little
well.
turns, and then very carefully peeled that saran wrap back off of there, and then used a heat gun from about 1.5 feet away, so it wasn't smearing the paint, but just drying it up, so I could put a couple of coats of clear lacquer over the top of it. And the black is Hampshire Sheen, the professional satin black lacquer that Martin sold or maybe still sells, but won't be selling for long probably.
No.
So yeah, so that's that. So
it looks beautiful.
Thank you very much.
That's great.
Very cool. Nicely done.
Yeah, appreciate it. My first time turning a piece of birch, and I really like the grain in the birch. So
I do too. It's pretty.
I'm gonna find me some more of that if I can. So yeah, that's
cool.
all for me.
All right. Well, thanks, Todd. Next up is Al, and Al doesn't have his camera on.
Yes, he does. How's everybody?
You didn't when I tried to go to you.
All right. First of all, before I show what I've got, everyone has to take a pledge. Everyone has to raise their right hand. You have to say, insert your name. I will not laugh at this when else it shows it. Is everybody ready? Okay. Everybody raise your right hand.
No, this is not a pledge. I'm not going to take that pledge, Al.
I can't. I just can't.
You're right.
I know me too well.
I love it.
I do too.
That's the deal, sprinkler.
Absolutely great.
Al, that's just exactly like you.
Yeah.
Why would I laugh at that?
Well, I didn't know what to call it until tonight. I guess this is a weed pot.
Weed pot.
Slightly different from ones we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Those bases are beautiful, and they remind me of an old hand crank wall mounted telephone. The speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the one in the middle is the handset.
There you go.
It can either be that or take all the flowers out, put the beer down the middle, and then you could have two buddies and everybody could drink.
We want to share beer.
Oh my God.
Or it could be some from outer space, or who knows. But as soon as my wife looked at it, she said,
or put a screen in the middle one, and you got a bong for three.
Wasting a whole week of your day, of your life.
Did you draw that before?
And then once again, Billy, it's a weed pot once again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but his base looks like a hamburger, and he left the top of the bun out too long, and it molded.
Yeah, it did. Right.
Yeah, and one giant slice of tomato in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Made a sandwich.
Yep, that was my thought immediately.
You look at that and you want to eat it, right?
I still like the idea of a daffodil sprinkler.
There you go.
I want answer Jim's question. I want you to answer Jim's question.
What was that?
Did you draw that before you made it?
There's a fella that I watch for quite a while now. His channel is Mustard Piece. He's in UK. His name is Attila. I don't know what nationality is, but it's his project. I did the best I can to copy it, and yes, he had some really beautiful pictures before he did it. You know, and but yeah, no, I did not, because there's 50 mistakes. None of the sizes are correct. You know, so. But anyway, you know, I like having fun doing it, so that's what I did. So now nobody raised their hand. Nobody did anything. Everybody laughed.
Hey.
We enjoy your work, Al. We enjoy your work and what you share with us. That looks like it was a lot of fun.
Yes.
I laughed at some of the comments, not the piece.
I get the trophy again for wasting as much time as I could this week.
There you go.
Very good.
I wait, Al, to see your stuff, because you never know what you're going to show. You got a very good imagination.
I copy everybody. I
Loving that
copy.
Hollywood, that holiday shirt there.
There you go. USA.
There you go.
That's what I got. Everybody have a good night. Everybody be good.
You too.
Thanks, Al. That's a lot of fun.
Everybody have a great holiday.
We will.
And Joaquin, that was excellent. And Dave, everything you do for this club to see those the video afterwards, Dave, this is just dynamite. Thank you so much.
Very cool.
That's all the time.
Thanks, Al.
Keep it up.
Okay, that's all I've got on my list. So we're going to go back to Scott for the extreme close-up. And
for the extreme close-up. I see Joe said he had brought somebody in new. Do you want to introduce him, Joe? Are you out there somewhere? He was here a minute ago.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I brought I've been talking about my grandson. Basically, he's been over helping me out and do some work around the property, and I brought him on tonight. He's on the one that says wood heap.
Okay.
Wave your arm at him.
Hi.
Can you see him?
I had him a minute ago. Where'd he go?
Right here.
There he is.
There you on the camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
There he is.
Okay. So anyway, he's been over here helping me do a lot of stuff, and he's kind of interested in possibly trying to do some turning. So I thought I'd bring him in here and just kind of introduce him a little bit. Also, Dane made a challenge. What was it, 2 weeks ago, I think, about everybody should try to bring somebody on as a guest. So he's here tonight. That's why. And here he is. Let him introduce himself. This is Lance. Go ahead, Lance.
My name is Lance Stewart. I'm 13.
Can't hear him.
Sit up a little closer and talk louder.
His camera's muted.
Okay.
My name is Lance. I'm 13 and I'm interested in wood work.
Cool.
Welcome, Lance.
Well, welcome, Lance.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir.
Let's start learning.
Have you turned anything yet?
No.
Okay. Have you
Well,
watched turning yet?
About what?
Watched any turning?
No.
No.
Okay. Okay.
All kinds of woodworking is fantastic. You're going to love it.
What
If
did you
you-
think of some of the stuff you've seen shown tonight?
I like it. I think it's very creative.
Yeah. Give you some ideas?
I definitely want to make a bowl of some sort.
There you go.
Good.
Great.
Awesome.
I started teaching my granddaughters to turn with pens, and that's a great little starter thing as a pen, because it's something you can give to a friend or use yourself or give to a teacher, and it gets you used to using the tools and gets some of the fear of the lathe away. So that might be a good starter project for you.
Yeah, I actually have. I bought some back scratchers that I'm gonna have him make some handles for me. It's gonna probably be the first thing he tries. Just a small little bitty handles.
Yep.
But he's been to some of my shows that I've had, and he's seen the stuff that I make, the bowls and everything. He's always kind of been interested in it, and always wanted. He's got like a pen of mine. He's got almost everything that I've made. You know.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go on the internet and look up Eddie Castellan, and he's got a couple hundred videos on there. Of course, Billy Burt's Messy Studio, and there's a bunch of guys that have different things on there, but Captain Eddie has some really great starter videos, and everybody's got a bunch of good starter videos, but he's probably one of the best to learn off of. That's where I picked mine up.
Right.
Yeah. Camp Matt says, "Welcome to our rabbit hole."
Yeah, for sure. I taught 2 summers ago. I taught my three of my teenage grandsons how to turn. I started them on pine 1.5 by 1.5 inch square spindles, and had them learn how the gouge works and cuts. And then when they could make the shapes I told them to make, I gave them each pin kits, and we glued them up and had them turn pins. It was great.
Yeah, I have a few slim lines back here that I've already got cut and glued and everything. He'll probably do a couple of those also.
But that spindle for back scratcher sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you start wood turning, you'll never have to worry about having girlfriends, going out with girls or drinking beer, because you won't have time or money.
He won't have no money. That's the daggone sure.
True. Very true.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Anytime.
Welcome, guys.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Mr. Davis, Ray Davis, I see you have a guest sitting in the room with you. Do you want to introduce him?
The wrong run there. Yeah, I've got my son here from the Denver area, Parker, Colorado, and he's getting into wood turning. In fact, about a year now, right?
About a year. I've been on here a couple times.
And so when he comes down here, we usually turn a few things, and he's done a super job on a lot of the bowls and stuff that he's done so far. So I'm going to have to step aside one of these days and let him have it.
Well, enjoy sharing it for now.
A lot to learn.
Yes. I don't think you can learn it all. It's always something new to learn.
Yep,
absolutely.
I learn every day.
You got a good teacher there. Ray's a good teacher.
Thank you very
much. You got a good teacher there too.
I even got him doing segments. So
cool.
I just got to get him come on and show some of his stuff.
Yes,
absolutely.
Because it's just very, very good.
Nice.
All right. Back here to the beginning.
All right. Well, thanks, Ray.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Scott. There we go.
I'm sitting at my cabin up north, so there isn't good viewing here.
Is it a good time for Safety Sue?
I think we'll head to safety, Sue. How's that sound?
It sounds good to me.
Works here.
Hi,
Keep
everybody.
talking, Sue. We'll find you.
Hi. Oh, hi, Miss.
I'm up there. Yes,
It's
I
you.
dyed my hair, guys. I couldn't
Wow.
do what I was doing, and it's faded already. And normally, I like to spike it up, but screw it. anyways, let's talk about some safety. And part of it is like a challenge to anybody that's demonstrating. Whenever I'm seeing a demonstrator, whether it be on our programs or especially on YouTube, you hear that they don't have their face mask on because they have problems with their microphone. But yet I've seen people with complete respirators on, and they have their microphones in their respirators, and we can hear them fine. I think people don't realize that when they're on Zoom or even on YouTube, the noise from the dust extractor or whatever is taken out, and it's not a good excuse not to have your face mask on and your dust mask on. I know it's hard to talk through a dust mask, but we have pretty good ears most of the time, and we can hear what you're saying. So I also want to embellish on what Captain Eddie said about if you got questions, ask. One of the best safety rules that you can adhere to, besides getting your safety equipment on, is no question is a stupid question. We all started out. We all had to get somebody to talk to or to show us or what to do and what not to do. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube, but just know if you follow our website for safety rules, know that some of these folks that are on YouTube that are going to show you how they turn don't necessarily follow the safety rules. Don't wear thongs, wear shoes, something that's closed-toed. Don't wear floppy sleeves. Don't have long hair hanging in front of you while you're turning, because pretty soon you're going to be bald. So, folks, I want you to be safe. And I want you to be able to have resources for people to ask or to watch on YouTube or other areas. Sorry about that. But just know you still have to be safe and recognize what they're doing on YouTube and some of the other things that you watch that are not safe. So, folks, have a great week. I know we all watch YouTube and our favorite turners and embellishers. And just be safe this week. Have a great time, and have a great 4th of July. And make sure if you're going to fire fireworks, be very careful. We want all your fingers so that you can turn some more stuff. Take care. See you next week.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you.
Sue, I had that done. I had that same thing done to my hair. It's just that folks can't tell anymore. I don't know why. But,
you can always do your eyebrows. Do one eyebrow teal and the other one purple. There you go.
Well, I live where Mardi Gras is. Maybe we'll go purple, green, and gold or something.
There you go.
Hey, if it works.
So were you turning with long hair?
Never.
No, I meant
he was asking Eddie.
No, I wasn't. I never had long hair.
Just checking. Just checking.
I didn't fall into that category at all. Hey, we got a few minutes before we're going to start our demonstration, and I want to take a few minutes. A while ago, a couple of weeks ago, you folks knocked me flat by awarding me with a plaque to thank me for what I put together, which is right here, which is Worldwide Woodturners. And I don't know how to say this, but
I didn't put this together. I had a brainstorm, and I thought, what if? And I called a bunch of wood turning buddies, and they put this together with me, all of them. And most of them are still right there in the box doing it. And we're all friends. And guess what I found out in the last 6 years? We've been at this just about 6 years, is that this thing hinges on friendship, hinges on us being friends and pals and buddies and sharing information. Dane put out something last night about how many members we have and how few photographs we get. And a minute ago, somebody said, if you put your photograph up to show it for a gallery here tonight, you should put it in a newsletter. That's really a gimme. That's an automatic thing. And, I don't want to, it's not an item to be beat to death, but man, if you make it, stand by it, stick it out there, show somebody, just like that young man we just met. He's getting started. You're going to throw an idea in his brain that he can work with. He can say, you know what? I can turn this, but when I turn this bowl, how did that man make it three-sided? You see what happens? He's just coming up. Nobody told him it's easy peasy. Nobody told him that the Duxbury jig and how to make it and everything else is on our website. Nobody told him we've already demonstrated that, and he can see those demonstrations on our website. Yeah, see, it's right there. We started 5 years ago plus sharing information like that. So share, take a photograph, take a picture, share what's up there, take it and spread it around. And when you're with your club friends, I belong to a club that was at one time when we met on a Saturday morning, the meeting went from I opened the doors. I was president for almost 10 years. I opened the doors at maybe 7 o'clock. We had a crowd from 7 o'clock until 2 o'clock or 2:30 every week. And sometimes it ran longer. And I never threw anybody out because I thought. We got out because we all got hungry or tired. It's just, we ran out of things. And the clubs are fun to do that. That's why this meeting right here, we started this program 7 o'clock Central Time. Check your clock. It's now 7 o'clock Central Time. We started an hour and a half ago. That's how it slipped. And some nights it runs until midnight. And we often get a couple of hundred people tune in, tune out. So, bring your friends in, invite them. You got a buddy, a son. I didn't believe that was his son. How old is that man? Who's that? That's one of the older members. But it's pardon? Yeah, but I'm getting corrected by the boss. But you got somebody in your club, bring them on in, share it with them, call them up and say, look, go to your computer and do this, no charge. Click it up, press the button on the screen. You really don't have to download Zoom to get this. You know that. You can do it from your phone, from your iPad. I tried the other day, and I can actually get Zoom on the watch my wife just got me. Yes, but it's a little bitty picture. But if you got a friend, bring him on in. We want to see him. We want to know him. What we want to do is pick his brain and let her pick ours. So if you got a chance to do that, but I start by saying thank you for the honor she gave me a couple of weeks ago. It's very touching and moving. It makes the difference when friends talk to friends. Friends teach friends to be friends. And we're going to do much more of that in the future. Don't forget about Level Up. Registration opens in September. And we're going to play around with some new ideas to expand our Level Up thing. You Level Up guys got it? Y'all know I'm going to come back and hit you with this because the Level Up committee is all volunteers, and I'm going to throw another brick on another log on the fire, pardon me. I think we can may have some pretty interesting activities. We are going to have interesting. Think about the people that'll be there. All right. And we're going to throw some more interesting activities in there because we're out to have fun, wood turn, have fun, wood turn. Remember? Okay. And the number one rule, you got to come in happy and you'll go home happy. No attitudes. Don't bring an attitude. We are not in a critique business, and that will never happen here. And I'm proud to say that doesn't happen here. We've stopped it. So you want to show us something? We can do everything except say but. I can love that piece, but nope, can't say but. You got a no but guarantee. I love that piece. I am not qualified to critique your work. I don't know of anybody who is. That's your work. It's coming from your heart. It's what you make. I want to see it. All right, it's coming up at the top of the hour. Thank you, Safety Sue. You were great tonight, and glad you pointed that out. And folks, it stands. You got a question, just ask it. Scott, are we ready to go to the shop?
I think so. Are you ready, James? I'm going to spotlight you here in a minute.
Right. And look, folks, here's the deal on demonstrations. James is going to do his demonstration tonight. If James is going to show how he will do this, if this is his way to do it and how he performs it, his technique is all shown. This is James' act. Now, if you don't like what you see, or you're quizzy with it or whatever, this is for entertainment value only. Because I'm going to be entertained watching James crank out some wood, make some shavings. We're going to mute everybody in a few moments, which means we don't want you button in. If you got a question, put it in the chat. One of our co-hosts will ask the question for you. And James will stop and say, any questions? Right, James?
Actually, I am more of a, if you have a question, by all means, unmute and ask me. I'm used to demonstrating in front of live audiences, and I prefer that.
Okay.
So please, by all means, shout. I've got a big old DeWalt speaker here that's blasting in my ear, so I can hear just fine.
All right.
Well, I'm going to mute everybody, James. You'll have to unmute yourself.
I'll
I'm going
unmute
to mute
myself
them now.
again. No problem.
Okay, everybody's muted. Now they can unmute themselves. Unmute yourself, James. We should be ready. It's your demo.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead
good.
and have at her.
Not a problem. Well, hello, my name is James Carter. I am a production wood turner. I live just south of San Antonio, Texas, between the little towns of Floresville and the town of Sutherland Springs. I'm wood turning is what I do for a living, so it's kind of fun, or at least I have fun with it. So, all right, I should turn that off. I don't need that anymore. All right, we're going to talk tonight about inside out turning. Well, example pieces here. Mainly a Christmas ornament, but inside out turning is where you take 4 pieces of wood, put them together, you cut the inside, and then you fold it back around and you cut the outside and you make a nice pretty ornament. Doesn't matter what, if you want to do round, baubles, diamonds, whatever shape you can figure out is fine. That's all up to you. What I'm here to talk about more today is kind of a general overview of what you got to go through. This is an ornamental technique commonly used in Christmas ornaments and stuff of that nature. And it's just there is a myriad of ways to do this, and we're going to discuss that in kind of in depth. So the first thing you want to understand is, you need to start with a piece of you need to start with some kind of wood. It's one of the few things where you can use board stock pretty easily. I like to keep it so I know where my grain direction is going. So I'll draw a line usually on the end grain if I've been planing it or sawing it down, so I know which way I'll get the best wrap on my wood will be. Most domestic hardwoods are fine. Cherry, walnut, maple, ash, oak, all going to be okay. pine, poplar can be a little bit chippy, and I don't recommend either one. I don't recommend either one of those. I wouldn't recommend any kind of burl because the grain just goes every direction. If you're trying to do spindle turning on it, it's likely to split, pop, or break apart, especially once you've turned the portion of it out. Grain direction, you're going to try to look at the piece and figure out what way you think is going to look best on the outside, and make sure that's your outside. So this is a blank I set up a few years back, actually, when I first did this. Careful what you wish, when you open your big mouth, you wind up doing demos at SWAT because of it. First time I did one of these, we were having a meeting of the minds of the guild, and someone asked, "Hey, what demos would you like to see on inside out turning?" And I opened my big mouth and said, "I kind of understand the principles of that." So I wound up demonstrating that at SWAT the next year. So that's a lot of fun, though. I'd do it again. So I start with a piece of wood. I decide which way I want to do with it, and then I'll take it and flip it 2 directions like so. See if I can get my headstock camera to work the right direction. Hey, that works pretty good. 2 directions like so. Grab a pencil, because I don't know where my markers are right now. Wait, never mind. I found it. Even better. All right. So whatever way works best for you on this is a matter of, do you want 1 outside, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, my handwriting's not great. And then I want to put a line dead center. Okay. This is what my outside orientation is. So when you want to do for your inside orientation, you basically want to take all these pieces and flip them around. Hopefully, we won't get them to fall over this time. All right. And that's the way, this is now your inside turning. So what you got to do now is figure out, how do you want to hold this in your lathe, so that way you can turn your whatever your inside shape is going to be, and then get it apart and do something else. That's where everything else comes in fun. So traditionally, people would take brown paper or newspaper, glue it together. First glue it together in this one, glue it together in that one, glue it together, and that way you can turn your shape, put the paper, and then split it because of the paper. Tried it. It's a bit tedious, and the fact that you got to let it dry overnight as a production turner is just not something I want to deal with. So not a method I prefer. The various methods you can do, banded hose clamps. I've tried that method. It's a little bit fun, and adds a level of danger to your life if you don't mind it. My only recommendation on that is make sure that your bands are on opposite corners, especially on smaller lathes, because if you have them on the same side, you can watch your lathe just walk across your bench for you. The method I'm going to show tonight is I'm going to use fiber reinforced packing tape, 1 inch thick. I get this from McCoy's locally. I haven't been able to find it at a Lowe's or a Home Depot, but you can get it off Amazon. It's pretty. Usually at live demos, I'll give anybody $20 if they can tear it with their hand. No one's done it yet, so it's great stuff, and it's very strong. Other
James?
methods that I'll talk about real quick. Yo.
Well, one viewer says, "Are those lines significant?" I'm assuming he's referring to the squiggly ones.
Squiggly ones only for the initial setup, so that way I know this is the grain goes in one direction. That's
Gotcha.
the only reason why they're significant. You can draw them on one side, and that way it goes around the edge. You have the inside or out. You have your outside set up. Right now, the only thing I need to worry about are these corners are facing the outside corner, so that way I know when I flip this back around and glue it together, it will be the shape or the orientation that I'm looking for. Okay. Other methods that people do. Some guys, if you don't mind the waste, they just take and glue the last half inch of the piece together, clamp it together, and then cut it off. For that matter, all you really have to do is come in and cut down the T and then flip it around, because that's going to be the outside and you're going to get rid of it anyway. So it's not a bad method if you don't mind waiting for glue to set up. I've seen people build headstock and tailstock and clamp it, and then just wedge clamp together. It's great if you're doing a lot that are the exact same size. A method I have used when I'm in a production mode, this clamp a little bit big, but it'll work, is I'll take a square, a 4-jaw chuck. I've got a smaller one. I just want to have the jaws on it right now. And I'll set this in here and clamp it down in the corners. And then I've got on both headstock and tailstock, and I can grab it really quickly and change them in and out without having to go through the hassle of doing the tape. The tapes just takes some time, and if you're a production turner, time's money. So what's
the name of that?
That's the
fiber tape.
Just fiber reinforced packing tape. This one is integrated polymer group. Trying to see if there's anything in here that's just American made. iTape.com is at least the group that makes it, so you might be able to find it there. But all right, so to set this up, first thing I'm going to do is sit on a nice flat level surface, or as flat and level as I can get at the moment. Usually use a good old fashioned squeeze clamp. Do one side, flip this over, grab my other clamp. Do this side. This is where it gets exciting. All right. And then grab the tape. It will split lengthwise if you don't watch it, if you're not careful. It'll split between the fibers, but you can't cut across it. It just won't cut. And it won't even cut when you want it to cut. All right, there we go. Luckily, I'm in my own shop, so I know where I at least have scissors. All right. Old scissors, they're dull, but they work. All right. Any other questions, Billy?
Not that I've seen.
I think we're good right at the moment.
No problem. It'll hold. Okay, so that's done. Pop the clamps off. And then now we're basically ready to turn the inside dimensions. One nice thing is at least you know where center's at, because it's 4 joints, so you can easily just take this little spring-loaded punch, mark both of those, and that's easy to go. And as Sue was talking about, for safety purposes, in my shop, my respirator lives right on the tailstock. If I get out of here, whenever I go home or leave for the day, it sits right there. I cannot turn on my lathe without putting on my respirator. And it's the one thing I'm very, very, very it's big time important when you're working here. Keep yourself safe. Very much so. So if you want to look at it, if there was one side you thought you might have wanted to put top or bottom, you could choose that right now. They're pretty uniform grain cherry, so I wasn't too worried about it. And it's just a matter, we're going to start. There we are. Nice and tight. Okay. If anyone cares, I use the Peak Safety PAPPR belt separator. I love this thing. All right. When I set up this piece for my this is the design I'm going to do tonight. It's one I like. I like the little bobble shape. It's kind of fun. But again, any shape you do is one you need to carry. So the one you want to set up. I start from the top. I come down 1.5 inches. I make a line right there. I go another 1.25 inches just for fun, and I put a line right there. And this tells me how far, what my inside dimensions are going to be. Gives me a good outlay or parameter. That's the word I'm looking for. Gives me a nice parameter. Okay. Go up one size. Now this is going to be spindle on this piece. I want my tool rest set about center height. You're really pretty much only going to use 3 tools, mostly in this demo, or at least I'm only going to use 3. Spindle gouge, I'll use a skew chisel, I'll use a spindle rough gouge. Once we flip it around, but on this side, pretty much just a spindle gouge. All right. I'm going to ask, okay, can everybody hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes.
We're good?
You're good.
Okay. I know I'm very loud, and I'm sorry if you need to turn me down on your end.
What size and length is there? Are those?
All right, on this piece, I started with 6/4 stock, so 1.5 inches. Once it was planed down, it was right about 1 1/8 inches. I think this is right at 6 inches.
So 1.125 square by
5 7/8 long.
Okay. So 1.125 square or 1.25 inches, maybe even by
yeah.
6
I mean, it's an inch and it. I mean, when you buy. Nice, planed and smooth.
Your audio's cutting out, James.
Kind of the important part, and I should have. I'll pop this out real quick and show it again. The real key to this piece is to make sure that these, and I'm going to say this word, you're going to laugh at me. Diamonds are all the same exact size. And that's really what it matters. You don't have to do 4. If you can figure out the perfect diamond, you can do 3, 6, 10. All you segmenters out there, that's my challenge. Go ahead, knock yourself out, figure out what the perfect diamond is to do a 10-sided inside out ornament. Okay? No one's been able to do one for me yet. So I've been I don't do segments. Sorry. But that's where it's at. It's as long as you have a perfect diamond. I know Alan Stratton of Aswood Turns. He's got a video where I think he's got one that's a 120-degree diamond, If you put it one direction, you can get 6 together. If you put it the other direction, you can get 3. So you can do a 3 or 6 one pretty easily. And he has the dimensions on how to do that on his website. So, okay, when you start cutting the inside out, basically this section here is all waste. You want to make all your cuts. You're gonna want to start in the center, the center of this to cut. So that way you're cutting into waste and you're not getting any chip corners. Do not use a tool here, and I'll show that once the next section. I'll show you why you don't use a parting tool. Being that this is roughly 2.5 inch piece, anywhere around 2,500 or so RPMs is fine. And so we're gonna start, like I said, start here in the center, and just make clearing cuts. Right now, it's just cutting waste. Go the other direction. You don't ever want to come up the other side of a cove unless you love sanding torn out grain. I don't love sanding torn out grain.
I don't either.
Should be down to round at least some part. Yep, that's round. Okay. Need to come get both ends in good. All right. Looking pretty decent right there. Nope. Switch hands. Just not comfortable doing that right-handed. If you're ever uncomfortable holding a tool a certain way, switch hands. It might be more comfortable. All right. 2 things we're going to talk about here. I got to set my lines so we know where I'm at. Still need to go about another 8. Wait till the lead speeds up all the way. All right. That's a little farther than I would have liked to have been, but okay, that will work. Okay. If there is one thing I've ever noticed that people do when I was researching this, they always do that give them the problem is people look at this space between the corner in here and they think they've got, oh, that's a lot of space. The space that's going to show up on the window is that space right there. And that's going to be half your space. So you always want to make sure you're going deep enough. I have found that usually about half of the distance of the piece is what works best. This is grab a caliper. I know we're at 1.1/8. I want to go down to about 1 3/16. That way I've got something to shoot past once I get there. A little bit more. Right. 42. Okay. And what I'm going to be doing here is kind of a regular cove. We're going to be deeper on one side than the other and a little bit Actually, we might do a round one on this one just because I've messed that up already. So here's have some fun. You adapt. So dead center, I'm gonna cut that. Okay. Tells me where I need to shoot to. Oh. Put that away. All right. So now we just grab our coat or our spindle gouge. Bring that around. Same thing on this side. Now I'm going to look at it. I'm going to probably change my mind as to what I want to make. In fact, I think I am. I'm going to do a bell shape on this one. There we go. That's better. Well, unfortunately, you won't see this exact same design turned on the outside. But basically, what I've done is kind of done a half bell, so that way when it's all finished, you'll have this will have a little bell shaped top to this one. I'll finish it up and send pictures on this one, at least. But no, I won't bore y'all with sanding this. Luckily, I don't have to. That's the hard. That's the annoying part. Uh-oh, my wife's coming in here. What? Okay. Apparently, it's not important. I need that. That's why it is done. Can't do that right now. You steal my freaking. She was going to steal my drill bit. That is wrong, man. That is just wrong.
No, she wasn't. One of the turners said that's true. I mean, one of the viewers said that drill bit shouldn't be on his lathe. So she said, you're right.
It's that drill bit should very much be on that lathe. That is a very important piece of my equipment. All right. So when you get done turning a shape, and here's one I've already had set up or whatever. You take it back apart and you glue it up, and it looks something like this when you're all said and done. Again, one of the nice things is you can easily find center right there, and then it's just where everything comes together.
Yep. See the round magnet under it, Brenda?
Under this, yeah, there's a heavy duty heavy duty magnet right there. Yeah, I need that piece, and you'll see why here in just a minute. Here's in my back pocket. All right.
They just wanted to keep you safe.
Steal my magnet, man. Shit for All right. And there we go. Parting tool. That's what I want to see. Why you don't use the parting tool to set this up?
So quickly to reiterate, in case I missed it, before you turn those around and glue them back together, you sand and finish the inside, right?
You do sand. You sand the inside. I usually use spray lacquer on these because it's just the easiest way to do it. Because if you're going to try to put any kind of applied finish on this wall, it's on the lathe, especially once you finish the turn. Those corners can be very sharp, and I wouldn't recommend doing any kind of applied finish to that once you on the lathe.
Gotcha.
I personally don't recommend it. But as you can see from, I don't know, let's see, maybe the tailstock camera might get a little better. It's a little better quality. But you can see the torn grain right here. If you tried
Right.
to set your window with this particular camera, or I mean with this particular with a parting tool, you're going to have that torn grain on the side. And the reason why I don't try to demonstrate that during this sucker is because it would be my luck that I go dead center. Well, it's still square and it would split all the way to the ends. That's that's a given. It's just going to happen. All right. Well, now we get to go around. Hey, hot dang. This is fantastic. Start at the end. Again, anchor, bevel, cut. Round your piece down. And be aware of the shadow, the ghost image that that you've got here. You don't want to go too far. I know I've got a general shape that I'm going for, so it's not too bad. And I will say, your design is your design. I'm just hoping to give you the kind of an example of how you might want to get there. By all means, experiment, play with shapes, play with your designs of your ornaments. They are your ornaments. Christmas is not that far away. Start now. It'll make your life easier. Real quick, get a roughed out shape. Yep, that'll do. Get rid of all the square. All right. Pretty much done with that guy. Now, chuck I'm going to use. You need to go up another. It's pretty well solid at 1 7/16 inches. So that's where I like to be at. And parting tool.
Hey, James, you have a new turner here. Would like to know what you mean by ghost shadow.
What's up?
A new Turner wants to know can you explain ghost shadow?
Explain what? I'm sorry.
Ghost shadow?
The shadow? But basically when this thing is running, oh, I'm on the wrong camera. Sorry about that. As you can see, there's that little shade shadow running here while it's working. When I'm looking straight down at this piece, I see 3 kind of shadow. Turn this off. I see the one that's right here, and then as it comes this direction, you get to see both of those little holes that way, and then you see the one solid one. And as it flips through your eye, play those fun things on it. You don't want to ever go through that shadow because once you do that, this piece is done. flies off the lathe, and you have some fun with it. That's what working. You want to get close to, but the ghost or the shadow is going to help you out because I call this demo, at least when it, usually hollowing first, which is usually the backwards way you do hollowing. You usually cut the form and then you hollow to the form. This is one where you cut the hollow first and then you cut to the hollow. And being that you can see where that shape is at while you're cutting, you can get your shape right while still working on that. And it's a great way to do that. All right, what I'm doing right now is setting up to put this in a chuck so we can start doing some shaping. Like I said, please ask questions while I'm doing stuff because it's easier for me to explain it then. All right, there's that. Offer a little plane there. Need to make sure I'm, whoops. Luckily, that's going away later on. Nice and square. Put a wee bit of a dovetail in here. And then the chuck I use has a spigot on it. And so I've got to get rid of another wee bit there so it fits in the truck, in my chuck properly. If you have when you're working on this, I recommend a long nose jaw of some kind. Just this one has, like I said, has a spigot in the center, a spigot down in it, so I can't use the dovetail the entire size. But that way, especially what we're going to do on the top section here next, it does make it a whole lot easier to get everything put together. So, like that. A good little flick there. And I need to take that back just a little bit more. And one nice thing is once you've got this set up, you got the hole from the top from the drive center, and so I don't recommend using a four jaw, a prong drive center. I recommend using either a safety center or a step center. I use a little 5/8 inch step center, multi-tooth center. I feel on this it's going to have a great hold. I don't recommend using. Please do not use a cone center. I actually have the cone for this one off because if you put that cone in the center of that joint, either taped, whatever, that's just going to split it apart more. And here, if your glue joint isn't perfect, it does. You're going to have a likelihood of it blowing apart. The cup center at least grabs all the way around, so it gives you a bit more safety, better grab, better hold. Also, use wood glue. Do not use CA glue on this. CA glue is a great finish. It's not a fantastic glue because it's susceptible to heat. And if you're going to make this for anybody in Christmas, especially where I live in Texas, if they put it in their attic, the next year when they bring it down, it's going to be four pieces, not one. That heat will just cause the CA glue to break, to give up. So, all right, now we're gonna work on the rest of this guy, or we're gonna work on. Or correct that. I'm going to work from about the top of the bill up, and so because I'm going to chuck. This is actually how I final chuck it, and then we turn the rest of it. What we're going to do is we have a chuck here somewhere. We're going to turn that half. So I'm going to do this section. And first things first, I want to get the shape of this bobble.
James, change your camera angle.
Yes, ma'am. I just realized I was not showing y'all what I'm cutting. Thank you, though. Appreciate it. And shape's good. Not quite. You want to get, for me at least, I want a nice sharp corner all the way around. That way I know I have a good, um, it's just going to look better. And unfortunately, this is a point where it's just a lot of guess and check, or it's cut and check, cut and check. Make the cut, make sure it's what you want, and then go back and tweak it if you need to. All right, take that down a little bit. Skew chisel. I'm gonna put a little bead here. So I want to define that bead a little bit first on this side. Give me something to cut into. Define where it's going to end up here. Okay. Uh, I roll a bead with I roll a bead with the skew. Yep, that works good. And being that I just happen to have this tool in my hand, I'm going to set the rest. I'm going to set where I'm going to put my checking point at. And then decide, yep, that's fine. Tailstock. As you can see, that's a little bit fuzzy right there. So I'm going to come down here again. That is the one nice thing about that. It's not guaranteed where I'm going to put it. So you go down and you get the next one sometimes. Now I don't have enough room to use that 1/2 inch skew in there, so I grabbed it. This is a 1/4 inch detail gouge from Thompson. And for turning beads on like this, it works pretty well. Gives me at least the room I want. Feeling something still. Yep, need to go deeper. This is just a design modification. A little more. At least one thing I didn't talk about. You don't have to use the exact same wood either. This is a piece that's commissioned for me. It's cherry and maple, so you don't have to use all one kind of wood. You can blend in multiple kinds of wood, gives you kind of a cool effect. So another thing to consider when you're making one of these. All right. A little deeper. Still not quite happy with the way that's sitting. There we go. That's better. I'm going to cut just a little groove there as a fillet. There we are. And then now I'm just going to make my little top holding piece for the Christmas ornament. Again, I'm going to kind of make an off-center cove and work as long as I can with that tailstock in place for no other reason of you want the support. This wood's already been weakened because of the way it's been. Try to give yourself support as you can. Okay. Now back away the tailstock. And why this drill bit is important is this is what I use to drill a hole for the hook eye that goes in there and holds it in place. I love making Christmas ornaments, and that thing stays on my lay pretty much all the time. All right. Well, unfortunately, this time you do get to watch me sand because I can't power sand this the rest of the way without it. So fantastic. That's what's going to have to happen. 80 grit. That's what I want to start. Okay. Turn the lathe off. Back it out of the way. Real quick. And cut something that I didn't look if there's anything ugly that I need to first. A little bit of fuzziness right there. There we go. Okay. I start with 180 grit. No, I don't slow the lathe down. Most of us who are most production turners, especially spindle turners, you will find just don't do it. I'm not putting a death grip on the sandpaper. I'm not putting 1,000 pounds of force on this. Um, Sandpaper is also a consumable. Keep that in mind. You're going to burn through it, literally. Nope. I probably threw it right on one to use, right? Yeah, that's 180. I had paper stacked up in order. Got knocked over. There's 220. These I'll usually sand up to 600. Um, just the dimensional sanding I like to go to. Not really, no rhyme or reason to it for that. Sand whatever you feel works for you. That's 4 and 8 or 6. Yep. Yeah. Hmm. I usually it's just a habit of mine. Clean a piece with acetone. I find it gets rid of the dust and doesn't raise the grain. My trick, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. All right, now we flip it around and we do the rest of this piece. And once again, put the tailstock back in. Okay, tighten it down. There we go. Nice thing is this tenon is going to be is cut to the size of this chuck. It's not going to leave any marks on the ornament. And that's one nice thing about I love doing this way. I don't have to king it in any manner to get off to pull a tenon off or teeth marks or anything like that. And so, okay. Now let's work on the rest of this. Okay. Oh, that's all right. It's usable. It's salvageable. That's being in more of a hurry than I should have been.
We call that demo.
Oh, I didn't. What's that?
We call that demo-itis.
Uh, I'm always, I am very much aware y'all guys are spending your time with me. So I don't want you to feel like you're wasting your time. So, and I've had stuff blow up plays before, on demos before that I've never had problems with in turning it. So that's always fun. All right. Actually, that actually is not too bad. I can live with shape on this one's pretty good. A little bit, there's a little weirdness right here. Anchor bevel. Get your cut direction. All right. Talk a little bit real quick about tines. Um, Depending on how far into this you want to go into is how thick it's going to be at this region. I could cut much lower and have these shorter tines. I like the thicker effect. It just you get more of the simple window. If not, it would just be this big. It would more be just straight. Where that's something to just be aware of when you're doing these yourself. Now for I like a wee bit of symmetry when I'm doing something. I've got a bead and a fillet and a detail on this side. I'm going to put a bead and a fillet and do the finial on that side. It's my design, a way I like to do it. Like I said, um, you can do them however you want. That was the first one I ever turned when I was playing with this. This is out of either pine or poplar. Either way, I don't recommend it. This was very fragile. When I'm impressed it's actually stayed together this long. It wasn't really great wood. And this is one I did early on when I was trying out the banded hose clamp method, and you can actually if I had rounded if I had just taken this round, this would have gone. These were cut out farther than you would normally have rounded out a piece. Depending on the strength of the wood, you have a lot of flexibility with how you're going to. So I don't want that. I don't want my lower bead larger than my upper bead. That's for sure. So we are going to have to shrink this guy a little bit.
James, what angle do you grind your skew at?
Which one?
Your
My
skew.
skew? My skew is my skew is 20 degrees on both sides, so it's a 40-degree included bevel. On that, doesn't matter. The only reason why this one looks longer than that one is it's a thicker bar of steel. It's the angle is the same.
Okay. Also,
I
what is
find
the
if you
wall
don't,
thickness? What's your wall thickness at the hollow section? About a quarter?
yeah, somewhere between like 3/16 and a quarter is where I'm.
Cool.
If I had to, look through here and I don't know, somewhere around here, I have a set of measuring calipers. There they are. If they'll go tight enough. Yeah, this one's messed up. There we go. It's just over a quarter inch right now. I'll probably get it down. I would say somewhere between 3/16 and quarter is
Yeah, once
general.
you sand it.
Yeah, once you sand it down and the shape that you're looking to get, all that stuff. If you want to see me talk, if you're going to SWAT and want to see more about skew chisel demonstration, I am demonstrating basically. It's called Spindle Basics, but it's basically a skew demo at SWAT.
Go ahead and move back to top down, please.
What's that?
The camera is not top
Oh,
down.
top down. Thank you.
Shop assistants keeping you on your toes.
There we go. That's about right where I want it. All right. You really want a tiny skew.
I got one of them, made it myself.
I just prefer a skew. All right. Now we just got to take this down. Spindle gouge. Okay. All right. Being that I have kind of a inward cut fillet, I'm going to do the same here on this side. I want that a little small. And now it's just a matter of your eyeball. What do you feel works well? What looks good? What style of finial you want to cut? Um, uh, like I said, this is your project as much as anything. So there are a lot of shapes you can play with when it comes to finials. I'm gonna do kind of a little onion ball shape on the bottom on this end. Uh, Now, when you talk about getting into the thinning, you'll hear, please remember you've got 4 pieces of wood held together. You don't want to go too thin, but want to give it some good shape. When it comes down to it, get a tiny skew, it just cleans it up faster. Always love cutting coves with skews when you can. Just so clean. Little design modification there. All right. I want to take this down a little bit more before I don't want it quite that big. This is a very careful cutting because I'm cutting towards my tailstock. I don't want to cut into my tailstock, but I also want to I want to thin this out as much as I can before I have to get rid of tailstock support. Now, when you're doing one of these, I will say you always want to put something on the bottom, just because that way, if you bring it to a fine point, you've got 4 pieces of wood coming together there. If you're not quite perfectly centered, it may show that. To yourself, be kind and give yourself a little bit of out. I have a problem right there, so this one's going to have to be a little tinier than I want it to be.
Hey James, there were some questions in
Yes, sir.
chat about your detail gouge or spindle gouge that you're using there, about the grind and the shape and so on.
Not a problem. This is Crown Cryo standard 3/8 spindle gouge. I grind at a 45 is the primary bevel, and then if you're using a very grind yourself a little 1-inch cube, and give me a second, I'll go grab it. If you're wanting a really easy way to put a secondary bevel in on your tools, this is a 1-inch cube. It's been rounded off on one end so it fits in the bottom of the very grind. Once you ground your primary bevel, throw this sucker in there, butt your very grind back up to that, and you'll grind that secondary bevel on this tool clean, quickly, and without having to do any other adjustments other than throwing that little cube in there. That's why it said even on tricks you
Could
pick
we
up on
see
demos you don't care about.
could we see a close up of your secondary bevel just so people know what you're talking about?
Let's see. Hoping
Thank
you
you.
can see that.
Yeah,
And
thank
if
you.
that's any better, if nothing else, I can grab a different tool.
No, we saw it.
Okay. I mean, gouges my spindle and my spindle gouges, because anything that's going to cut a cove or an inside groove, you need a secondary bevel to get to, so that way your primary is out of the way. It doesn't rub against the wood and forces it to cause problems.
Camera angle, please.
An issue. Now on my little detail gouge here, this one is at a 35, and then I do actually wind up grinding some of it freehand away because it's just there's a lot of steel in relation to that particular tool. This is where you spend time figuring out how far you got to cut to get rid of the imperfections in the wood. Yep. All right. That's fine. Cut that out a little bit more. And as with any project, work to your comfort level. If you're not comfortable, or if you don't feel your skills at a point where you can do something, don't work outside your comfort level. Um, challenge yourself. By all means, challenge yourself. All right. I'm going to do a wee bit of sanding right now, just because I can. I'll worry about parting it off in a second. Then all I got to do is sand the base. Always be aware of your details when you're sanding. Sand in the way that you want the detail to look. I don't want to round that over. I want that nice and crisp. So don't roll over when you're sanding or one direction or the other. When you're sanding the globe, be careful. And I will say, sanding this at a slower speed is going to cause you to get your finger stuck.
Among other things.
You can turn with 9 fingers, but you don't always want to. I don't recommend it. It's not a not it's not a it 10's easier. 10 is much easier. Yep. There's 220. 3 pieces of 180, 3 pieces of 320, and only one lousy piece of 220 in this section. I don't know why I grabbed the other ones and not more of this. Fellas, stand back, take a look at it, make sure everything's where you want it, how you want it. Actually, that's where I want it. Thought I cleaned that up. I guess it did. There's a little bit of a fuzzy right in there. Much better. Okay. Okay, that's 220. Ooh. Do be careful doing this. Oh, that edge is sharp. Should be. My air compressor's down at the moment, so I can't quite. I couldn't blow air down it. No, I'm not. It's up against the inside out part. It would grab that. Okay. And now the last little bit is cutting that. Nice. Cutting this off. Now reverse the other direction, get that out. There we are. Okay. Turn your lathe off when you pull your equipment. Safety first. All right. Being that was pretty well cleanly cut. 220. I can probably start with 220.
James, can you tell us again what kind of wood you're using?
This is a combination of maple and cherry on this particular one. The first block was all cherry.
That's what we thought.
This actually was a request. I had somebody asked me if I would make a maple and cherry block, and I said, okay, I'll make you a maple and cherry block. So there's 20. Need to find a 4. There's a 4. And 6. Still a wee bit of acetone still in that. All right, clean that up. And then that should be it. Little Christmas bauble.
Absolutely.
Wow, your friends.
Wait.
Just beautiful.
Go.
Great demo.
Nice. Very nice.
Very
Yes, great demo, James. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm not much of a segmenter. When I was first said I would do one of these, I was like, oh man. But they really are about as much about the turning skill as it is about the pieces that you're putting together. Always have been just a great piece for me to do, and I love making them. They're a lot of fun. But a great way to wow your friends at Christmas, or family friends and family members at Christmas time.
You're absolutely right. That is very pretty. That'll wow your friends for sure.
Actually, I got a pallet full of mesquite that my uncle had planted.
James?
I had an uncle that basically said he'd give me a big pallet full of mesquite slabs that he had if I just made him one of those Christmas.
Hey, James?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I like to ask you a question. When you take your 4 pieces how do you make sure that they're square in order to get a square fitting? Each one is you have to you plane them, or you when you start out.
When I started with it, I joined the edge of playing the sides. So I had a nice square, and then I ripped them on a table saw the rest of the way.
Okay.
It's just I don't have a joiner and a planer here. I had the maker space where local guild meets at had one, and so I had to go up there and do my initial batch work up there for this particular project.
That would dictate to whatever you end up with, because if you don't have them square, they're not going to work right.
Oh no, yeah. If it's not square, it's going to be a nightmare. And then also once you glue it up, make sure that these joints here are as close to lined up as possible. And I've got this one, I know has one. That's why I never finished it out. It's got one joint here where it's not off bad, but it's off enough that it drives me nuts. And
all right,
you're always your own worst critic.
Thank you.
No, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Anybody
Thanks, James, for
questions?
Hey, James, that was very
I'm
enjoyable.
listening.
That was very enjoyable. Thank you.
Okay.
No, thanks
You're
for
welcome.
sharing.
Anybody else?
Just
thanks, James, for doing it. Is Captain Eddie still here, or is he gone now?
I don't see him.
Yeah, I don't see him. I think he left now.
Yeah.
Everybody, thank James for a great demo.
You're welcome.
And Matt, do we have any more gallery?
I have nobody else on gallery, but I do have some things I can show from the discussion we had at the beginning.
I have one thing, maybe to show Billy.
Who is that speaking?
That's me.
Al.
Okay.
Everybody knows Al.
I don't know. I didn't recognize the voice there for a second.
Thanks,
What
James.
you got? What you got, Al?
No, I mean, Billy, you're in the critters. There's a mood owl.
Yeah. I saw that when you made it. It's really cool.
Cute idea.
So, I mean, just a quick shape, hollow that out, and this does not have to be, good, because he was happy. He's a mood owl.
That's cool.
That's cute. Good idea.
I know you've been into the critters. That's all. That's all I got to say. But again, everybody have a good night. And you know what? That was a blast. I mean, I watched every bit of it. Inside Out Turning it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You make some really crazy stuff by doing that. And you showed it. You showed it. That was very nice. Thank you very much.
There was a when I was originally researching this, there was a guy who was doing wine bottles inside out, and then he would cut a glass out of the center, and then cut a goblet to fit in the center of that glass. I mean, the wine bottle. So it was really kind of neat because you had both the positive and the negative of the same shape, offset by a quarter of an inch or whatever. So it was really cool to see, and not something I'm in the mood to try, but was fun.
I saw that, gentleman, and I made that, and I think I showed it. I showed it here. I'll show it next week. Yes, a little wine glass inside. He is really cool. He's really he really is. No, but what you did tonight, James, that was just like fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks again, James. It was a great demo.
Yep, I learned something.
Indeed.
I just wanted to give you a little update. Dane was texting me during the demo. He wanted everybody to know that he's doing good. He overdid it a little bit today, so he's off his feet for tomorrow probably. But he wanted everybody to know he was doing good, and just glad to see that the meeting went on without him. So I just thought I'd give everybody an update quick.
Yes. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Tell him not to be so damn grumpy.
Well, I've been talking to him.
I messaged him today, and he said he's trying not to be grumpy, and so just tell him when you talk to him not to be so damn grumpy.
Right. Well, I've been texting with him and talking to him just about every day except for last Saturday. So he is progressing. Says he's doing well. His other hip is kind of giving him troubles now because he's got one good one and he's favoring the good one, trying to learn how to walk on the good one and kind of making the other one sore. So hopefully that'll go away soon. But he's just wanted everybody to know that he was doing good and thinking about everybody, and he hopes to be back on soon.
Good.
Cool.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Tell him we got his back.
Yeah. So if anybody's got anything else to discuss, I guess this is the time to do it.
Well, we've got one guy here who has got a question in chat, so we're going to go to Norm and see what Norm has. What's your question, Norm?
My brother found a burl. I've got a picture of it on my computer screen.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And I'm just wondering how I should cut it.
Couple of burls.
Yeah.
That's useless. You should send it to me.
It's on one log. The log is 8 inches in diameter. The burls are 14 inches in diameter, and they're 10 inches long. 10 inches long. I'm just wondering how I should cut it. I've never done it.
The question is, what do you want to get out of it? Not because that's going to dictate how you cut it.
Right.
Okay. I guess I'd like
If you're going to try to do
a bowl, I would think. That's all I've done is bowl. I haven't turned anything but a bowl.
Bowls and platters.
Are the burls one side of the log, or are they perfectly round all the way around the log?
The one is almost perfectly round all the way around, and the other one is round for about 8 inches, and then 2 inches of it is kind of oblong.
So you can shape them into bowl blanks. The sort of squashed, totally round one, you could probably get 2 bowls out of that.
So would I cut it the length of the log or across?
I would cut the
length of the log
without knowing what's inside.
Right. I have no idea.
I would be tempted to turn bowls end grain on the one on the left. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the smaller one, yeah, me too.
Yeah. The other one, I would shape it so I could get the best, the best bowl out of it I could get. One of the games you play with burl is the grain can go every which ways inside a burl. So you don't really have, unless you've got like part of the log inside the burl, you don't really have a grain concern. You can shape the blank however you want to get the most out of the piece.
So the one that's the most uniform, you would cut end grain?
I would cut it. Here, let me do this with it. Let me add me in here.
Norm, is that top one completely around the log?
They're both all the way around the log, both of them.
The top one I would probably make into a small vessel. I would cut it off on each side of the burl and make it into a vessel.
Yeah, make it into an urn. Yeah.
Norm, what kind of wood is that?
Well, it's not the best kind. It's red pine, he said.
I thought it was pine. All right.
So you could probably get it.
Matt, sorry, I'm interrupting you, Matt. Those are called they're called knobs, and they're swirly grain, but they will. The swirl is only on the outside. The center of that is actually just like a regular log inside. So the center isn't going to be as pretty. You're probably going to do like what Matt wants you to do, is cut it in half and then hollow out the center portion, which would be the trunk of the tree.
Okay.
Right. We call those knobs.
We do it side grain.
Yeah, you definitely want to do
a side grain on it.
Yep.
Okay. So
all your pretty wood is going to be on the outside of that, not in the center of that burl.
Okay. So then I would try to take the bark off, right? Turn the bark away.
it's
yes
up
and
to
no,
you.
depends on how you cut them, right?
Yeah,
right. Go ahead, Matt.
right. Yeah, so yeah, I mean the one on the left side, I would cut the ends of the logs off to get an idea of what's inside, and then probably try to get two bowls out of it like this. Okay.
Okay. All right.
But that's all I was going to say. But you can turn. I mean, you can do end grain. End grain stuff. I got some stuff here, so you can. I mean, this is cedar, but you can do end grain bowls. So and leave the bark in too. So there's a lot of options. Okay.
Sure.
So it all depends on how if you didn't want to do two bowls like this, you could do one and leave the bark along the edge. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So there's a lot of options, a lot of ways you could do it. So
cool.
Or you could do, Matt, if you hold your hands up again like the knob, you could do a hollow vessel. You could hollow it from one end, grab it on one end, hollow it from the other end, and make it completely hollow with a small hole in the middle. More like an urn or a small vase. I think that would look good on the top one. The bottom one, I think I would do like Matt says, cut it and make it into two bowls.
Okay.
You said you'd only done bowls, Norm. Is that right?
That's all. Yeah, I've only done this for a short time, and all I've ever made is a bowl.
Okay, so you don't have a way to hollow it, right? You don't have a hollowing jig?
No.
Or experience. Okay. Gotcha.
I looked at one when I was at the show a couple of weeks ago, but I just about bought it, but I didn't.
Do you have a coring system, or do you know somebody with a coring system?
I have McNaughton.
Because with the burl, if you can core it, like cut it in half down the middle and core it, you're going to get more than one bowl out of that burl, even if it's not nice in the middle, like Scott said.
Okay. I've tried I've tried it twice, and I have not been successful with the McNaughton. I've mentioned it on this group before, and they said I just got to keep practicing.
Then don't practice on this burl.
Okay.
Especially a soft burl like that, it'll tear it.
Buy some cheap poplar or something.
Yeah.
I've got some cherry. I got quite a bit of cherry. Thought maybe I could try it on that, and I've got a lot of walnut, but the walnut's been drying for 30 years. So I think that might be kind
very
of
dry.
Yeah, it's probably dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so.
I wouldn't recommend trying to core that dry a walnut. I would try it with wet wood.
Okay.
And between you and me, cherry around here is about $9 a board foot. So I'm mad at you right now.
I got two logs that are probably 24 inch in diameter, and they were about 30 feet long.
Wow.
Norm, grows like weeds, don't it, Norm?
Yep.
Here in the north, it grows like weeds.
The two burls, when you start turning them, because they're in the pine family, make sure you cover your bedways and everything with newspaper or cardboard before you start. So you're gonna sling some sap out and put on an old painting shirt or something, because you may get it all over you too.
So what do you do with your tools afterwards?
That's what steel wool is for. That's what steel wool is for.
Nah,
clean them in turpentine.
Yeah, turpentine, kerosene.
Wear a face mask.
If you're brave, you can use gasoline in a pinch.
Yeah, if you can use Norm, you can use Coleman fuel, which is Fells naphtha. You can use either Fells naphtha or regular Coleman lantern fuel will work to clean that sap off too, and you don't have to worry about it burning if you do it outside.
Okay. That's one of my concerns, is what I was going to do with the sap.
The sap's going to make a mess for sure.
Yeah.
Mess.
I think they were cut last fall.
Yeah, you're probably going to want to turn them soon, or they're going to crack.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And maybe do it in somebody else's shop and put the mess over there.
There you go.
That's a good idea.
You could hang a plastic tarp against the wall too, so that on the backside of your lathe. So when you're flinging that sap, you're only flinging it into a piece of plastic. Hang it from your ceiling. A piece
Sure.
of visqueen that you can throw away when you're done. You don't care about it. At least
Yep.
you're not getting it all over the shop then, right?
Well, I have plastic around my lathe anyway, so I keep everything contained.
You may
Norm, you can come turn that wet sauce stuff in my shop as long as you bring some cherry to go with it.
Oh yeah.
Not a problem.
You can take it to Doug Rowe. He's used to that kind of a mess.
How about hard maple? Should that be turned wet or dry? I just got a big
Hard maple works both ways.
Yeah.
For making platters, I buy hard maple to make platters because it doesn't move much at all.
Nope.
And it's a great light wood for painting or something on. But it's also great fun to turn wet. So it turns wet really nice. So hard maple is usually,
I don't turn anything wet.
It's usually sugar maple. Hard maple is.
Oh, turning a piece of wet sugar maple, that's about the most fun you'll have with your clothes on.
So
I would argue that silver maple is more fun than sugar maple, but it's a very slight degree.
Yeah, slightly.
Would that be a good one to try my McNaughton on?
Yes.
Yes.
Silver maple would be better because it's softer. If you've got box elder handy, that would be a really good wood to try it on too.
Yeah, I got a lot of box elder.
Wet box elder is great fun.
Turns really well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
What's going to do with it now?
Pardon?
It's got a lot of options. A lot of options.
You know
what's
options. Yeah.
The way it sounds, though, I should probably do it sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
On the pine, I would do it sooner than later for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to want to finish that bowl in one day, so that you can get your sealer on it the same day that you started turning it, because I'm sure it's got actual ambient moisture in it, and pine does like to crack if you don't keep it even.
Sure. Well, it should be fun to try.
Can't wait to see what you end up with.
Sure.
Yeah.
Make sure you show us.
I will do that.
Looks like Howard King's got something to show.
Yeah, he has to turn his camera on first.
Come on, turn your camera on, Howard. You find him, Matt?
He had his camera on.
Yeah, I got him. I just
bumped it and turned it off.
There he is.
There he is.
Hey, how you going? Good demo. Great demo.
Thank you, sir.
I like that inside out. I've done lots of those and some good tips there. This is the third of 5 bows I cored out of a big cherry burl. And the fella before me was asking about what to do and everything. 6 of one, half dozen the other. Just start cutting it up. I like to cut it up where the live edge or the natural edge is showing. But anyway, I had posted this on Facebook the other day.
Pretty.
So
that's pretty.
So
Beautiful.
But anyway,
you cored that out?
Yes, I cored. I had a burl and I cored 5 pieces out of it. This is the third one, the middle one.
And what kind of coring system do you have?
McNaughton system, and this is oil finish. I think about four coats of oil is on it, and so. But anyway,
it's beautiful.
There you go, Norm. You can run down to Alabama and Howard can teach you how to use that McNaughton.
I'd love that.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's green, or if it's dry. If it's green, you usually will turn it to about 10% thickness of your diameter. Okay. And what I do on green, after I turn it, I turn it twice, turn it green, and then I soak it in denatured alcohol and let it sit dry on the shelf for 2 or 3 months. Then it's ready to turn. It's pretty dry and pretty stable by that time. Or you can turn it dry this particular burl had been sitting in this guy's shop for, I guess, 10 years, and it was dry, but it still turned all right. Came out pretty good, I thought. Yeah. So
It looks
anyway,
great.
so it doesn't really matter on burls. I used to try to figure out what's the best way to cut it and everything, and there is no deep secret or method. Just go cut it up and start turning.
Yeah. Question I have on the McNaughton, since you have one as well. The couple of times I've used it, it ends up binding.
One little secret is, are you doing about 400 or 500 RPMs?
I was turning 500.
Okay, that's good. Wiggle your handle as you go in.
Okay,
Wiggle it.
I wasn't doing that.
Do you have a spear point or the chisel end?
Chisel end.
Oh no.
It's whatever came with it. I haven't looked at it for a while, but I thought it was flat.
Yeah, chisel end.
Yeah,
That's
it depends on when
that's
you
the
caught
real
it.
the real old style. Since then they changed it to a point, to a
Well, I
spear point
just bought it within the last year.
from someone else or from a dealer.
No, from a dealer.
Yeah.
Well, then it should be a pointed. It should be a spear point.
Okay, I could be wrong. Like I said, I haven't looked at it because I was so frustrated with it, I put it away. 'Cause I figured I had to talk to somebody that knew what they were doing.
Well, take your time, and the flatter you are going in, it'll pull it in for you, and you gotta resist that. You gotta resist it. But what I do on the handle, I just kind of wiggle it, which causes that point to go like this. In,
okay.
And go real slow, real slow. Of course, it's going to pull in and bind up and stop, but you got to keep your shavings out of the cut. And if it's real irregular shape, if you're doing a burl and it's real irregular like this one, see, this is real irregular, and this part here, everything. What I do, I take the parting tool and I gently start working in, and McNaughton's about 3/8 of an inch. So where I intend to part it, I'll take a parting tool and work and start that thing, and I'll go all the way down till there's solid wood, all the way around. I try to bypass these gaps.
All right.
Because the gaps is what's going to grab you and cause you all kinds of stomach ache and heartache and headache and everything else. So start with a parting tool and keep working till you get about a 3/8 inch, wide enough for your McNaughton blade to go in. Okay. And once you get to solid wood, then you can take that McNaughton and start working on it. Okay.
But you want to be jiggling it, huh?
Right. Take that handle and advance it slowly. You got to go slowly, and of course it'll pull it in, and you need to constantly be checking it. If you're going too deep in, pull your headstock out.
Okay.
So the blade can be more shallow, or if it's too shallow, keep looking at it, stopping and looking at it. If it's going too shallow, push it. Bring your headstock in where the blade can go deeper.
Okay.
But a favorite thing is to go through the bottom. You don't want to do that. You do not want to do that.
I did that once already.
So I just find you some maple or cherry, plain bow, and practice with it.
Sure.
Practice with that McNaughton. And I core just about everything. Because I love wood.
He's got some.
I want to save as much wood as I possibly can, and so I'm coring all the time. After a while, you get used to it, and you kind of get an idea of the shape of the blades. Do you have the long blades and the short and the middle blades? You got 6 blades with it?
I've got
or
think
three?
there's-
Three plus the straight
yeah,
blade.
3 plus a straight one is what I got.
Is it the medium or
The medium. I got the medium.
Okay. So you can do up to, you can go into, I guess 8 inches, eight,
Okay.
or, 16-inch or 14-inch bow. You can do that. Last week I did a 22-inch and piece, and the long blades came with that much of the center, and I was sweating it out, and I kept tapping it, and luckily it did not. One thing is, when it comes off, or if you break it off, what you're coring, it may pull out the bottom section of your bow.
Okay.
So you got to be real careful. And as that blow, I can't talk. As that blade gets in towards the middle, it gets real hard to cut cross grain. Okay.
Is that
So
when
it's
it wants
going-
to pull it too?
Last time it'll want to pull it in, and it'll want to drift to the bottom.
Okay.
It'll drift to the bottom. And so
got to be careful of that.
You just got to start with, regular bow blanks.
Yep.
And start coring them.
Sure.
And after a while, you'll get the hang of it.
Well, I hope so. I bought the thing hoping I could use it, but
Yeah.
Well, use it. Use it all the time, because bows that big, you can core out little bitty, pieces, make little boxes and stuff, Saving wood. You're saving wood. Okay.
Howard, are you
Yeah.
our list, what's this list called?
Contact list?
The dumbass list. Yeah, I'm on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
Well,
on that one.
maybe you can put your number in the chat for Norm now. And when he gets his coring system out next time, could he give you a call and you help him through it?
Sure. Yeah.
See there?
I appreciate that.
No problem. I'll put my
Love
phone
to.
number. I'll put my phone number in right now.
Look at that.
Anybody got any more questions or anything? I don't know.
I love your work, Howard.
Well, thank you.
And you're funny too.
I'm dopey. My granddaughters say I'm dopey.
Oh, okay.
I will say that
You ought to
you're
meet him in person, Brenda.
I'm hoping to.
He's
Level
a
up.
hoot.
Level up. Better be there.
Thanks, Howard.
Okay.
There you go. Look at that. Your
I think
personal.
Joaquin has something.
Yeah, we're going to him next.
Something I just.
All right.
What you got, Joaquin?
Hey, Joaquin.
Hey, how y'all? Hey, come down to SWAT and you'll meet us all there at SWAT, girl.
Well, come pick me up. Yeah.
That is out of the way.
He's got a 5-hour drive up from to SWAT.
Right.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much 6 hours, yeah.
Anybody pick me
Don't
up? I'm here. I'll
And
go.
don't you still have some construction equipment you could drive, Brenda?
Wait for I'm gone.
Yeah. This is a live oak bow.
Ooh.
I
You
left
hate yourself.
Candy bow, so you can reach in and get the candy out and not fall out of your
Pretty.
hand.
Yes.
And,
Very nice.
I live on Oleander Street. If you walk for 2 blocks from one end to the other, you can count 33 live oak trees in the yards around me.
Oh, goodness.
They're everywhere. And so, last week I did those weed pots, and so I had a 4x4 left, a pine 4x4, and I thought, oh well, I might as well make some kind of use with it to go with the other weed pots.
Pretty.
That's
Pine.
pretty.
I picked up some other pine 4x4s. I thought, oh, these are going to be good too. But I seen this sticker on the bottom that it was treated. I said, well, I'll be using them. I was lucky enough to go to one of Sammy Long's classes up in Michigan at our hands-on and take some of his carbon classes. I know you guys that went to Swatch, you got to see that pierced umbrella that he did, and he also
Yes. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I thought, man, I got to try that. I've got everything to do it with, and I finally says, all right, we're going to try it. And so I had an old pencil cup out there that I turned thin. I would burn this butterfly on there, and
nice,
very nice,
pretty.
It's not nice. Look at that big old hole there.
Wait a
It
second.
looks pretty.
Oh,
Creative design.
Well, he's
That's
a
right. It's a
damaged
design.
He's a
haven't
damaged butterfly.
on that freedom.
You're not so same.
Looks like butterflies in my yard.
So that I've got that Fordham Mini, a micro, and I hadn't figured out the speed yet, and it was going too slow when I got in between some of these and just chattered and broke it all out. But I've got one out there in the shop I'm doing with 3 butterflies around it, and it's turning out okay. And so we'll see how much further we go. But that was my learning curve on doing it.
Hey, Joaquin,
Yeah.
did you have a decal that you traced on there for the butterfly?
Yeah, I just like this is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I just put
Okay.
carbon paper underneath it.
Right.
And put it on there. Then I would burn it in. So, I'd have some lines and have some crevices that would not go away when I'm burning around it. And so the other one, it was an old vase that I'd turned too thin and the neck fell off. So I turned it thinner. So I'm doing 3 different sections on it. And I got one more butterfly to go. Good night. It sure is time.
That's a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah. End result is a reward. That's all.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Very nice, Joaquin.
Usually when I start doing something like that, I say, oh, this is going to be great. And then after about 2 or 3 minutes, I said, why did I start this? Because it's going to take for.
Yeah, about 5 hours later, you're like, okay, I'm not sure this was worth it or not.
When I first got in my club, all them guys were segmenters. And I was even joined the club and a member of the Segmenters Association. Malcolm Tibbins was president and all of that. And, you don't need logs. All you need boards. After about 2, and then I've got about 4 or 5 segmented pieces still out in the shop that's not fitting. I ain't got the physics. About the way this is. Anyway.
All right. Well, thanks, Joaquin. Dennis says he's got something up and his camera's working, so we're going to see what he's got.
Yeah, sorry for that. I finally found the switch. So I dried forward vase. Ash, can you see it?
Yep.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Nice.
And then graduation present for a friend. His son, my friend of mine, he's into cars. So he said, what can you turn on the lathe? So I made a tire.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
That's
Oh,
nice.
boy.
Very nice.
work.
Very nice.
Just something a little unique.
Yeah.
Well,
Perfect.
wait a second. How'd you carve the treads in?
What I did is I took a parting tool and cut these grooves here, and then I had a recess on both ends, and I drew lines, and then I took Japanese saw and I just cut down, so I didn't get into this rim on both sides here. I used calipers and turned it the same. So, and I marked all the lines and then I just cut it down.
Yeah,
Is that a good
lot of
year?
time.
Is that a Goodyear or a Michelin?
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Firestone.
you that.
Pirelli.
A what?
It's a Morgan.
A what? A Morgan?
It's a Pirelli. No.
That's a Pirelli. You're right, it's a Pirelli.
But,
racing tire.
anyway,
Pirelli.
Hey, Dennis,
Dennis,
that's great.
Dennis,
That's
what
great.
did you use?
Dennis, what did you use to really? It really looks like a piece of rubber. So what did you use for finish?
Yeah, that's right. That's
I
right.
just I painted it flat black.
Nice.
Painted it flat black, and then it was interesting because I had to go ahead and how did I do it? I put it down like that, and then I had to paint it both ways, you know, to get inside the grooves with the spray paint. Nope. And then I just used polyurethane on the inside.
So I'll tell you what, that's a nice job. That's really
Yeah,
great.
looks
Great
looks
idea.
real.
Yeah, I love out of the box, and that's a good one.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Thanks for sharing.
All right here.
That looks like it needs to be in our newsletter.
Yeah, I'll have to make it. I'll take a picture of it. And,
Please do.
I will. Thank you.
Great stuff.
All right. So at the beginning of the meeting, we talked about holding and jamming things, and I've made a bunch of these sorts of things here. There's a tenon on one side and a little piece of Walmart craft foam on the other side, just glued there. And you can put it in your chuck. And I got different ones for different sizes. And I've got these cone ones that I made for holding things, and they all have like a center point mark, so you can either put them on a cone center in the tailstock or put them in your chuck. And this will like go on a goblet, or it'll go on the inside of a bowl or something like that. So there's a lot of ways to hold things. I got a whole box full of stuff like that. So
Have you guys ever seen Bert Delisle's? He uses plastic plumbing fittings to hold stuff like that owl that was shown
Yes.
earlier. You
Yes.
guys should check his channel out. He uses plastic plumbing fittings that thread together, and he uses foam inside, and that would hold a lot of that stuff really nicely.
yeah, he holds
Mhm.
he holds like balls and stuff, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
I use PVC to make my vacuum chucks.
Yep. So do I.
He uses it to hold like the owl head, and it just made me think because he's got a demo coming up on the 12th on YouTube, but that's how he does it, is he turns half of it and then he turns it around and clamps it in that plumbing fitting and turns the other side. So
Yep.
and he can rotate it to do the eyes. So I just thought it might be worth mentioning.
Thank you.
Your wife could scratch my head too, Billy.
I put a link in for Wellborn Gourd Farm.
Yep.
You got a bunch of micro tools and other things in there. Also, decals that you could put on your piece, and then use your wood burner and stuff. So take a look at that link that I put in there. If you're interested in any of those type of tools, wife uses them all the time for her gourds.
Did you show them that already?
Hey, Joaquin. You still with us, Joaquin?
Joaquin, where you at?
He's still there, but we could see if he may have stepped out. Yeah, he's not there.
Yeah, he stepped out for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, you guys were talking about practicing with the coring and practicing in that. I've been practicing with my skew, but I don't know if you saw Ray Daka using his skew the other day to take some bark off. But I thought that's a really neat way to practice using your skew. I don't know if any of you saw it, but I just laughed.
Yeah, I saw his video. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Because I always said that a skew is good for opening paint cans and not much else. So
you got to get
I
yourself
use my skew a lot.
I've been using it a lot more. Yeah.
You got to get yourself a round bar skew. Our club had an open turn Saturday, and I taught a young man who has never turned anything. He made one of Dean Grimes' crosses in 2 hours from start to finish. and I had him using that round bar skew by the end, and we never put a piece of
Holy
sandpaper on
poop,
it. It was smooth enough that you didn't have to sand it.
I saw your thing at the meeting on the round bar skew, and I've got some high-speed steel that I bought a long time ago, and I'm going to make one and try it because I really like that.
This guy had never used the tool before and never made anything before actually. And I had him turning with that skew. I couldn't believe how good he got with it in just a short 2-hour session with a skew.
Well, I'm a lot slower. I'm a lot slower than most. It might take me more than a couple hours to figure it out, but
I'm not a master at a skew. Actually, I hate skews.
Yeah.
But if I had somebody to give me a round bar skew when I started, I'd probably love it today. It's so much easier to use and less grabby and doesn't catch. And I tried to get it to catch and I couldn't get it to catch for him. I wanted to show him what a catch looked like. I couldn't even get it to catch.
Ooh, I'll see what happens when I finish mine. Hey, Joaquin.
Yes.
you weren't here when I showed this earlier.
No, I've seen it on Facebook though.
Yeah, this is the finished one.
That is.
It didn't have any finish on it on Facebook.
Yeah. Wow.
That looks cool, Billy.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to put that on our table, so I
don't know who puts them on the table. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to pick the table that one's on.
So let me interject here quick, guys. This is the top of the hour. It's 9 o'clock. We're going to move into the after hours program now, and the floor is open to whatever you want to discuss. So it was a great meeting. Thanks for putting up with my hosting. Thanks to Matt and Billy for stepping up with everything that they did tonight, and Brenda too. And hopefully, with fingers crossed, we'll have Dane back next week. But if not, I'll be opening the meeting again, I guess.
I think we should text him and I think we should text him and tell him take a holiday. We don't need you for a while.
No, wait.
No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
About 4 weeks ago, him and I were talking, and he said, "Get everybody together and give him the odds up. Everybody give him the one." I don't forget.
Let him know he's number one.
Yeah, he told me to say that. To get everybody to give him number one. That's exactly what he said. So there you go, Dane. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. You're number one. He told me that about a month ago. He'll laugh.
I believe it.
There you
go.
Hey Scott, I was out feeding the dog. I want to go back to that round stew. What do you use? What's the best diameter? 1/2 inch, 5/8? What are you starting with?
I made a 1/2 inch one. David Elby, who's somebody I talked to about it, he's from England. He uses a 5/8. And then I watched a video today of Brian, can't remember Brian's last name. He's passed on now. And he recommended a 3/8 or a 1/4 if you want to do detailed finials. So it's basically whatever you want to start with. I started with a 1/2 inch.
What about
I thought I'd use it the most.
What about the angle?
So I have a 45 included angle, 22.5 on the top and bottom, with a 45-degree cross angle, or 40-degree cross angle. Sorry, 40 degrees.
I thought you said
Yep, 40 across the face. So I cut the bar off at 40 degrees, and then I ground my 2 bevels at 22.5 degrees.
Okay. Yeah, I did one out of just a piece of carbon steel, just to mess with and play with. And I didn't go to those extreme angles. So I'm just playing around before I go with a piece of M2 or HHS.
So I'm going to make another one, and I'm going to experiment. I'm going to leave it 45 included angle, but I'm going to make a 35 and a 30 across the face.
Yeah.
just to give it, just to try it, because I can always make it 40 or whatever I want. Now Martin Clarkston uses 45 degrees. This is long angle, and when I cut it, that's the way I cut it first. And I thought, boy, that looks awful aggressive. It looks more like a Russian knife than a standard skew, a round bar skew that I've seen other people use. So it's whatever you think it should be. I talked to the guys in England, and they're all over the place. Every one of them's got a different nose angle. They're all 45 as far as the bevel angle goes, but they're that long nose to heel angle. Everybody's got their own preference.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah.
The one I just bought is a 60-degree included angle.
Okay.
Well,
and I don't
you
think
got that
really
off of
makes that
Packard?
difference.
Did you get that from Packard, Carl?
Yes.
Yeah, I just got one as well. I haven't used it yet, but I just got one.
And I don't think it really matters much because of it's the round bar that really makes the difference.
See your face, Scott. Can't see your face.
That's just because it's where I'm sitting. There's not good light in here.
I can see his face.
I can move to the camera a little bit, but
Do we really want to?
yeah, do we really want to? That's exactly
That's what I
good
was
one,
better
Doug.
off, guys.
Close your eyes and listen.
I don't think the included angle really makes that much difference. I think it's the angle across the face of the tool, the edge angle, heel to toe, that makes the difference, and the round bar. The round bar seems to have more contact with your tool rest, and it's you have better control over it because it's round rather than flat. You're not working on that little corner or that little rounded edge that you have on some skews that are rounded on the edges. I think the round bar gives you a better feel for the tool.
I've got an old skew. It's oval on both sides.
Yep.
And it's very friendly.
Yep.
I reground my I had an oval skew, and it did all right when I was working on pins, but on bigger spindles I didn't like it, and I basically reground it flat and ground it into a dovetailed mortise cutter for when I'm turning between centers and I want to cut a mortise.
Right.
All right, I got a question for you. You know the flat cutters that look like a number 7 that we use for mortises on the end?
Yeah.
Yep.
How do you sharpen those?
On the grinder.
Yes, but what edge do you sharpen? I'm going to slap you up the side of the head when I see you.
Well, typically I sharpen the side that's going into the base of the mortise, and I will sharpen it like a negative rake scraper.
Okay.
And it's harder to get to at the angle that you need because I've got it cut at a dovetail. So if I turn the tool up this way, here's the flat that I've cut like a negative rake scraper, and then you've got that number 7 piece kicking up here,
right?
And that's harder to sharpen on, especially if you've got a rounded wheel, a rounded CBN wheel. It's not so hard if you're using a regular square wheel. You can get in there and get to it. It just takes some fiddling.
All right, so we're doing the edges, not like here is the blade, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Pretend the 7 is in there, all right? But I'm not doing the flat side of the blade, I'm doing the edge. Is that right?
Yeah, I do the edge that's going into the wood.
Okay. All right.
Cut it like a negative rake.
And as soon as you said it'd be easier with a flat, yeah, I've got a sharp 3000. I could do it on that. All right.
So as you're cutting, you don't do the top face. You do the somewhat vertical face.
Right. Got it. I got it.
And you do that on both sides?
Pardon me?
You do that on both sides? Because it cuts two sides, right? It cuts like a scraper.
Well, it cuts going into the wood this way,
and then also
that's where my negative rake is. But I've also got it cut back this way with a slight dovetail, so that has to be sharp enough to when I take it in, I take it in kind of toward me a little bit, so it actually cuts the dovetail.
Right. So you're sharpening the vertical faces.
Yes.
Okay.
But only the end is
No,
done with a negative rake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got
Okay. That's good because I've been having trouble with mine kind of catches and digs in and takes a lot of 80 grit to fix it.
I'll take a picture of what I did, kind of a close up, and send it to JJ. So if he wants, he can put it in the newsletter, and I'll see if I can describe how I came up with it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You're
Bill.
welcome.
That would be good.
Yep.
Scott, on that round one that you made, you said you had a 45-degree included angle.
Correct.
Is the point of that at the center line of the bar?
Yes.
Okay.
The cutting edge is in the center of the bar.
All right.
And I just put in the chat Brian name for checking out how he uses a skew. He goes through all the different styles of skews in his YouTube channel. If you look it up, you can watch him, and he talks about each one of the different skews and his theory on why they work like they do.
Thank you.
All right.
It's called Skew Types: Rectangular versus Oval versus Round, and it's a nice video. He goes through it pretty well.
Good.
It's too bad he's no longer with us because I really like the YouTube channel that he had created. He was very informative on his channel.
Well, he lives on through his channel.
Right. Exactly. Just like we're doing here, right?
Yep.